Yeah, you see. Oh, there we go.
Hello, everyone! Welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Tonight we have another Ocarina of Time standard tournament race between Cfalcon and Favio. And we are in Winner's Bracket Round 2. Tonight on commentary, we have Jackstronomy and Star. And they will take it from here for some stats discussion.
Yeah, welcome.
everyone.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so we have, again, we were already in Winner's Bracket Round 2. And again, I think someone commented in Fabia's first match, very underseeded, so I think this will be a very competitive match.
Oh, this is for sure. Here. We've got ourselves Cfalcon, also known as Bobby, Seed 19 versus Fabio Seed 51 here. Both experienced runners, as you can see. 197 races on Bobby's end, though he's been around since the Ace of SRC, so that's not a full reflection of his experience. Fabio's had 327 races on race time, so plenty of his own, and they've both been around quite a bit. They played in Season 5 as well, and Season 4 for Fabi, so you can see their previous matches in those tournaments as well.
Yeah,
there should be some really good matches here.
Yeah, Cfalcon doesn't play quite as much as Fabio, clearly, from the seed numbers. But where they have run up against each other in races, Cfalcon's come out on top recently with the 10 to 5. But again, if you're talking about a big race, it's kind of hard to judge. People tend to play differently in big races versus in 1v1, so it's the fact that we have no 1v1 comparison between these runners means it's going to be extra exciting.
What Star and Jackstronomy is it going to be called Staronomy? I'm not sure.
Is Jackstronomy the study of stars? Wait, what?
But this should be a really good race, though. Cfalcon, one of our American runners in the tournament, Fabio, our lone Chilean, and also one of our keyboard runners, so it should be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah, also, maybe I'm biased and rooting for Fabio because he knocked me out of the Blitz tournament over the summer, so I have to root for him, right?
The astrology team, VXR. I think the astrology team would be me and Stachoid or Stachix. Stachoid is Staroid in English. If I'm trying to stick with the English accent, is a Challenge Cup runner this year for OoTR, and Stachix STARX from the LTDPR Francophone community. I have not come to the Stachoid, but I have come to the Stachix. Fun results. Fun ensued.
Marvelous.
We should be starting soon here, though, so let's see how we're going to start. Looks like Bolero start with the Kokiri Emerald as Child in Kokiri Forest. Wahoo! Alright, we're going.
About the second for
Nope, there we go. Mine are syncing on Fabio's end. We should be going. Small chest in Nino's house. I wouldn't say nothing. That's a harp container, which is nice, but it doesn't look there were any. I'll see if there's any bomb shoes in the top left chest. Not the best start, though. Yeah, heart container and heart piece. The most interesting things here.
I would prefer to see a little more money out of there.
So would I, but nope, no such luck. Let's see if the Kokiri sword chest is any better.
Yeah. Again, just some. Right now, our runners are going to be trying to get these first checks. Obviously, get Kokiri sword chest as long as you starting right here. Trying to gather some money for doing any early game checks. And yeah, again, more health.
Yep.
Our only real difference between our runners is 5 rupees right now, so.
Yeah, not too much. Enough to show. They'll probably both get a little bit more money in last Woods area, so they can go pay off the scrub. Not too much besides. 2 vanilla models for our runners today. I do prefer Cfalcon's blue to the yellow that Fabio is sporting.
Yeah, the kind of yellow, beige, khaki. Maybe he's wearing khaki because he's here to get to work. He's a very business-like tunic.
Alright, let's see here. The first hint of the game is that Frogs 2 is dead. Wow, my brain just decided to say 3 different things besides Frogs 2 at first.
Frogs 2 is dead. I mean, is this a real S6 seed?
I mean, we'll see.
I swear, we've seen more Frogs 2 seeds in this season than... It's been a very odd statistical overdensity.
I haven't actually completed Frogs 2 seed yet, but I have completed a bunch of logical disasters to find out, like, Hylia is Path to King Dodongo. Okay.
That does incentivize it.
Medallion, I guess.
Yeah, and that does incentivize Valley Lake play.
That it does.
Which is those things people might try to avoid.
I'm laughing at chat and something I'm reading the chat saying, Mrs. and I call that color old person's yard sale.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Now, I know people say, like, oh, as S6 season 80 happens, and I just want to point out, you are going to have, just if you assume that you have a flat percentage chance of getting any one of the starting songs as, any one of the songs as your Ocarina of Time song, you're just going to have an 18% chance of AD out the gate. Just 80% chance for hard AD out the gate. And beyond that, like, there's a whole bunch of other cases. So you just, I'd say it's probably a fair guess that about a quarter of seeds are AD seeds.
Yeah, there's a decent chance of it. It's especially depending on, well, especially logical AD. Hard AD is a little bit different. And then there's just the, no, songs are required, but hey, you've got to go into every single stone dungeon for items anyway.
Exactly.
Because the game likes to do that to you.
But yes, the 18% number is from 2 out of 11, which is, you know, this is I guess it's a little bit of a roundup thing, but if you're talking about Zelda's Lullaby and Nocturne.
Those are guaranteed every time in these settings, yes.
Exactly.
Versus, for example... Yeah, versus, like, Requiem has a very high chance, Song of is to be at least logically required, both Menu and Sarius can be required. Song of Storms has a decent chance. And then there's rare ones. The bonus song, possibly. Song of Time is rare, but it kind of sucks when you do. Need to do it. Sunsong AD is a bit infamous when it does come up.
Yeah, so that's where I'm like thinking, probably somewhere around the like 20-25% mark. It's just, you're just gonna have an AD seed, so yes, you may be like, oh, everything's always AD, but nah, you just like, you rolled your D6. You know, you roll a D6 a couple times. You're going to roll a 1 a few times, you know?
Speaking of Song of Time, there it is on Saurian. Not exactly a great song to get so early. Graveyard's Path to Bongo. Okay. That's also Medallion then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
know that we started with a stone, so one of our 6 medallion dungeons won't get a hit, and unfortunately DC
that is very
did
unfortunate.
Get hinted today.
It is very unfortunate, because bombs you can often work around.
Yeah,
Ice Final is dead.
Alright, that's good to know.
That's not really helpful. And Decatry Baronade.
Okay, well, Jabu's also a medallion. We'll find out about Deku later. More info in any case. Next question, where the Kokiri sword's gone off to, though, because that may not get hinted directly depending on if Deku's a stone or not.
Yeah, that can always be tricky. Although it depends on where it wants your Baronade access to be, whether that's going to be your Rudo's Letter or it's going to be Boomerang. Your best case scenario would probably be for it to lock your Rudo's Letter, because that opens up areas. With these shit starting songs, I think you do Long On Range Market and go adult. I think there's an argument for that. I think there's also an argument to do Valley Lake here because we have Lake Hylia to King Dodongo. So there's more motivation to consider going to grab a set up your Scarecrow, do Child Fishing, peak the scale, make Pyra really happy. And Cfalcon is doing that. Just heading straight to Lake, looks like. And then Favio is going to be heading over to Longland Ranch.
Yep, gonna pick up a song, hope this might be Serenade or Prelude or something, and hopefully maybe, get an item or two from here before heading to Lake.
Yeah, this is definitely my preference, is to be going to Longland Ranch from here. Hey, look at that.
Big chest! Lake is still Path to King Dodongo, thanks. A very helpful game.
Also very helpful Ice Arrows, thank you.
I will say I quite appreciate Mifa's theme being Cfalcon's Hyrule Field music today.
Ooh.
That's the game from the music from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I've never actually set up doing randomized music in my game, but I do appreciate when there's good music comes up on other people's.
Oh, it is very nice.
I personally don't like playing it because I like having the audio cues, but it's great as a viewer. And Fabio also winning my hearts here a little bit with starting out the Skull Collection.
Mm-hmm. I do agree that Mifa's theme sounds really nice in the OT sound font. And the bonus song is Vanilla. Alrighty. Nice to have for later. Not really what you want to see to combine with Bolero and Song of Time, though, as your first 3 songs. Is not
well,
the best.
You know, I'm thinking when I see an early combination of Epona and Song of Time.
GTG?
We got something in GTG. Now, am I gonna go GTG now? No. 1, I'm a child. 2, I think I would still want a little bit more gas before I went to GTG. Yeah. But it feels like GTG will probably matter. 50-50 on the bet, that doesn't surprise me. We have people who are pretty evenly split on whether Cfalcon or Fabio would win, and honestly, I think I agree with them. Both of them are very talented runners. I would not want to run into either of them in a Dark Suitor Alley.
Certainly not, as we see just a red rupee in the waterfall. Look at the hint here, but there's nothing in Ranch either for Fabio besides this bonus song. And Skullmask got a wallet, hopefully they don't need that.
You very rarely need the wallet, but it's very good to know that's there.
Yeah, that gives you info about...
That'll get rid of Tunic logic.
Well, part of Tunic logic, at least.
Exactly.
And that's assuming that Fire is a medallion. We'll see about Water Temple as well. No hints for either yet.
Yeah. But if you find, say, a pathed wallet somewhere, it will, or a path where you have a wallet and another ambiguous item, it may just, like, tick the scales towards that ambiguous item.
Speaking of Epona song, HBA 1500 is dead. Well, thanks!
I don't really love that as an always hint. Or, excuse me, not always hint, a sometimes hint.
Yeah, nothing,
This might just be...
Her piece on the letter spot, I for once can identify that item. I usually suck. And Fabio's heading Valley Lake now.
Honestly, identifying the underwater items is always a entertainment. We'll see if we're going to be looking at our bomb bag here on child fishing, or if we're going to have to wait and come and get this as an adult.
Yeah, and the thing too with the adult is we have no hookshot and no way to get beans. Choose scales or bombs.
Yeah, we would have to get a scale for that Lake Hylia to King Dodongo to really make sense, because if you had a bomb to get beans, then you would already have access to King Dodongo.
Yeah.
Yes, and Cfalcon doing his traditional using Goron Lullaby as his Scarecrow song. He does in fact use Bolero of Fire for the same purpose in Majora's Mask.
Yep.
There we go. Nice and easy. And see, this is why we want to go down here and get that nice, easy bomb bag off of Lake.
Yep, not really surprised. Thanks for the hint game. It is nice to get that patent early because Child Lake can't be something you put out for a while, but in this case, pretty straightforward. At the same time, though, there's medallion dungeons, it does feel a little sad at the same time that you got a patent taken up by that. So, pros and cons.
Yeah. But again, you do want to... Bombs will give you a lot of things to do next. That does give you direction. That gives you some things to do in market, which Fabio's gonna be better set up to do here with having that money already set up. Cfalcon's gonna have to do some chain jumping. Although, actually, he has to do some Lanlan Ranch visiting first.
Yep, has just enough money for Talon's chickens, I think, and then, we'll see. He'll have to farm because he doesn't have any. He's not gonna get the 20 bucks from the Lanlan Tower, that's not worth it, and Talon's chickens, who I don't think was more money. In any case, there's the HP hint for Fabio.
Yeah, it looks like, Fabio's gonna have a lovely time of day to get back into, Howard Castle Town, but may have some time of day. I don't think you're gonna have some time of day issues with Cfalcon, but I think typically when I'm talking about back walking from Castle to Lanlan Ranch, I'm seeing like if you just have turned to dusk, you're just turned to the orange sky, you can make from Market to long range on time. So I think it probably works the other way around.
Probably, yeah. I don't remember exact timings. If I look at his bomb bag here, as Cfalcon gets, yeah, not much of anything off Talon's chickens.
Go with the horse for later. Gives you faster movement across Hyrule Field, but more importantly, it will give you access to the GTG Gerudo area.
Chat confirms that they should both be fine for time of day. Thank you.
Yeah, if adult CAC before night is an issue. Yeah, if adult CAC before night is an issue, that's a great time to consider one of the, controversial plays of S6 going up Adult River. Or
they could just
or do DC.
Go do DC, yes, because that's finishing that dungeon, the cutscene sets your time of day to noon, I think it is.
Yeah. I believe every dungeon sets your time of day to noon except for Water, which sets it to dawn.
So. Because DC is full clearable, it's a medallion. There's no real reason to not do it with CAC.
Yeah, it looks like Fabio's going to be walking upfield towards some of those bomb checks.
Yeah, I'm going to clear out some of the field grottos here since he added it a little bit differently over here than Cfalcon did, so going to get a few extra checks, we'll see if there's anything useful. Epona song was vanilla, how am I not myself?
Yeah, Southfield can be put off quite easily, but I don't know, I think I might have pushed towards a adult swing considering you have a full clearable dungeon, you have a whole bunch of stuff to do with although, yeah, you have to make it, as long as you make it into Castletown, you're fine, but yeah, again, I'm not sure at the time.
He has enough time to get back to market. I do wonder if it might work out for Dante digging, though. It's a little hard to tell right now. Field Scrub sold him nothing at all. That's true.
There you go. Yeah, Scumming Time of Day is a really strong move that you might see out of people setting. If you say you want to do a loop like do South Field because you figure your opponent might have done this part of South Field and then abandoned this, and you're looking for an edge, you may save and then save quit to preserve time of day. It's one of the moves you can make. And again, hints are powerful.
For sure. Speaking of hints, Cfalcon just got a hint at Sunsong Gravestead, so that's nice to know in case Sunsong ends up being somewhere silly. And the remote grotto tells us that Burning Cack is minuet. Okay, that's good info. Practically is not required for anything. Logically is nice for getting. Logically maybe required to get the Forest Temple. We don't know yet.
Fabio's going to continue on his child, which again, that's not my instinct, so it'll be interesting to see where he takes this. Because my instinct is firmly on the side of push adult as soon as you can.
Cfalcon's market music, which is not the minigame music, but market music is the Spirit Tracks overworld theme, I believe that is. Got some really good tunes as we get, oh hey, a skill off bomb bowling, okay.
Yeah, well, you're not getting into a river without that bomb bag, looks like.
Seems like it. It is going to pick it up just in case it needed later.
I mean, aside from needed later, it can also make for some really good routing options. So grabbing that in your first 15 minutes is going to save you time at some point, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, we also know that now also gives us child domain access without Zelda's Lullaby. Separate from that bomb bag, Fabio is here in River.
And a hammer.
A hammer. Okay.
All right, so we're also looking at bless you. We're also looking at all of our explosive lock checks are going to be locked behind that bomb bag. So.
Yeah, not too surprised considering that that bomb bag was path, which can only be the case if it is the only available bomb bag in the entire game.
True, but you may also be thinking about, for example, things that can be locked like that can be locked behind truly bomb lock checks, like child explosive checks where you cannot use the hammer, or behind fairy fountains where you must use the bombs.
I have also, by the way, no idea what was in the river there. Lower river, chancing it might be another bomb bag, which would make sense.
It would make an exceptional amount of sense considering we just saw that scale on bomb tree bowling.
Yep. And then that presumably tells us hover boots are also bomb locked, which isn't its stretch either, so. If someone in chat can confirm that, would be great, because I did not identify that freestanding. It would mean the boot scales are bomb locked, but that's not entirely surprising. Crater is path to Twin Rova. Okay, well, they did start with Boleros, so that's helpful.
Fabio just bought beans, so he may be thinking about getting a check-in on the crater before going adult.
Mm-hmm. That is a bomb bag in Lower River, as Lab Dive is dead, so they don't need the scale for that. And 50 Skulls is also dead. May as well get that bomb refill for later, basically for Fabio.
Yeah, when the bombs are your only item you have to do any real work in the game, you end up going through them really fast.
Yep. Yeah, this could be a pretty fast seed. Very much depends on our items, though, because we're still missing a bunch. If they're damn Mavx enough for River, that would be hilarious. Nope, just a red rupee.
Oh, hey, free shield off of Richard. Very nice.
Why not?
Not having to remember about your shield is always good. Yeah, this is a very early Zora's Domain debt.
Yeah. I mean, may as well for Fabio, who is doing it for time of day, and to mainly Composer Grave is dead. Deku is still path to Baronade. Big Oron is dead. And Sunsong Grave is still dead.
Yeah, nothing too exciting there.
And apparently Skull Mask was the other. Well, Hidden was the other. Does it domain? Okay. Yeah, or sometimes it's really not very interesting today. It's there. Scales on bowling.
Yeah, we don't have terribly interesting sometimes hints. We have a lot of them. What we do know is that we gotta have a lot of stuff. This is gonna be a very, very tightly bomb locked seed. So we should be very interested in bomb locked locations. We probably want to get into deck. I would want to be in DC already, but
there's other things to do. Shadow, check. Shadow Spirit. Oh great, DC, Fire.
Shadow Spirit, DC, Fire, Forest, and Job. Okay, this is a long layout. I'm always happy to see Shadow as a runner.
Yeah, for me, Spirit being the Forest Medallion's a bit concerning.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. That just means that you know your song layout's going to be you know more things about your song layout.
Yeah, but it also increases the chance that summoning his areas. Why is Saria's song a potential path to Twin Rova in Crater, speaking of? No clue what's on the volcano.
We have a forest. We have a forest medallion on a shadow medallion. It could have something on Lax. We could also have something in Forest Temple. We could also have just a Requiem of Spirit on Minuet check, thank you.
We'll see. Spirit does lock the Minuet song, which is something to know, but I'm also wondering about what's on Prelude, because Spirit frequently requires ZL, frequently requires Requiem, so something else to consider, because we don't have an Ocarina of Time hint yet, to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think we may be at Water and Deku for our 2 stones. Now, Water is weird. So Water is a weird one if we had... That one is a pretty reasonable for, Requiem. If it's ZL and OOT, that's, like, almost ideal, for Water. Because you know you just need two hook shots and Iron Boots. Because there are only 2 locations your boss key can be at. And we also know that Deku Tree should be showing up to get us into Baronade. And again, our ideal is for that item to be blocking Arbuto's letter. Yeah, and Fabio is planting the bean, which I think that's actually really nice in a lot of ways for Fabio. One, if there's an item up there, which we couldn't see because it was matte, is the answer. It was matte. It's hard to see things on top of the volcano unless it's shiny.
Yep. Alright, Bosky and Fire is in the basement loop there, right?
Yep, that's a very early Fire Bosky.
Yep.
Do not say anything about Fire being fast until you are very sure you have all your items. If OT teaches ZL, should it be in their best interest to grab it now or mid-run? There's a question from chat. As a runner, I would say that you do it as fast as you can get it.
The issue is getting it right now for them, as you see.
It's only five logical items.
Unfortunately, Longshot and Iron Boots tend to be kind of deep in the seed is the problem, and Kokiri Sword isn't guaranteed to be early either, especially if it's locking the Boomerang and not Ruda's Letter.
It depends on it, but again, it depends on when you're, it does depend on when the seed wants you to have it.
That is true. And Cfalcon cannot be Babaji with only 4 hearts, no bottles, and nothing else. That is not happening.
Yes, I agree.
And no
you do not go for that. You don't go for that. You have Bolero. You can come back really quickly. Discretion is the better part of valor.
Alfalfa, I don't know if it's even technically possible without bomb shoes or a bottle or something. Like, bomb strats might be fast enough for 4 hearts, but as it is, I don't think it's quite fast enough. We do know where a wallet is, but they're not going to go do that, I don't think, anytime soon. Water, not every single check in water is Zelda's Lullaby locked.
Yes, there are two checks you can get.
In these settings, yeah, there's 2 checks you can get in these settings without ZL.
And there's another brown bag.
Thanks, game. Yeah, there are 2 checks ZL that you can get without ZL in these settings. In other settings, there might be more, but in these settings specifically, there's 2, which are the map and compass chests.
Yeah, so it's really nice actually because then you don't need bombs. You don't need strength. You don't need a bow. You don't need logical tunic. You just need a long shot and you need iron boots. And frankly, as much as I hate the iron boots, I would actually prefer to see those before jumping into a ZL locked water, a ZLS water, because you can only get to one of those spots, iron boots less with gold scale. So it's a 50-50. Yeah. If I was feeling really spicy, or if I had Flora's Wind to drop, maybe I'd try it. But
yeah, because compass
be trying it
without ZL and without gold skill and no ZL.
Yeah.
One last time I should first logical bomb bag on frogs too. That is quite something. Yes, VXR. I'll be backtracking for bomb lock checks here in Lostwood's Goron City, and is going to get Hot Rod or Goron. We'll be back later for the pot and Darunio. As Cfalcon.
I'm a fan of getting it. I'm a fan of getting a Hot Rodder as early as you can, because or as early as it's convenient, because that is a very, very easy check to isolate, and it can come into logic very early. However, I don't think I would have made it this convenient for myself.
It's not a bad idea to round it in any case here. And also going to see Child Goron City here. You can get a couple checks, peek the left side, and go get a skull.
Yeah, like one thing I haven't noticed is Fabio has been collecting skulls already.
Yep, we have not seen a 30 hit, or seen a 40 hit, and he does not have the 50 hit yet, so not a bad idea. It's
also something that, like, from a philosophical perspective, I've noticed we have seen 40
Speaking of skulls, 40s then.
That's like from a philosophical perspective on the 10 and 20 skull perspective. I know a lot of people delay the 10 and 20 skull checks. It can be a play to just push those harder and just get those checks done nice and early. Yeah, I agree with Alfalfa. This is a very interesting route, and I don't think I would have approached it this way. I think, I have bombs in hand. I have all this stuff to do. I'm gone.
Yep, Dins and Cack. Okay.
That's another piece we need for Shadow.
Yep. Yeah, probably perhaps doing some unconventional strats, looking to get a edge on Cfalcon, perhaps. DMT wall is useless. And it's going to route here into chickens, I assume.
Yeah, early chickens could be a check that gets isolated.
Oh, for sure. The check has a reputation for a reason.
Yeah. And it's not even that bad of a check in the settings, because one of the lovely changes made is that we only need to get 4 chickens instead of 7.
Yep.
We'll be seeing
Cfalcon's gonna do Goron DC for time of day here, as it was not daytime for him, and is also going to get all the items and the medallion out of here. There's a bunch of stuff.
Also, love having the hammer here. Look at the.
It is a nice time save.
Because the magic of the Master Sword means that when you do a power crouch stab, you don't just store damage, you also store the last thing you did, which means that you can just stab the wall.
Hammer's unbulgeable bowling. See if Fabio will get it when he goes to market.
We already have
magic.
Feasible Dim's Fire, so you could, if you wanted to. Hey, that is another wallet. Now that I think about it, if you wanted to, I don't know why you would. It is logic to lower these stairs with Dim's Fire.
It is. None of it matters in DC because we already have a bomb bag, as we have our first slingshot here for Fabio.
That's annoying, having just done that very nice full clear of Lost Woods.
Yep. Sorry, where was the wallet? Because I managed to miss that.
The wallet was on Man on the Roof.
Ah, nice. Oh, another big chest for Cfalcon. Okay.
Oh, wow. Convenient.
Drawers, sure. Dim's Magic Horse Rush Wasteland? Well, it's not in logic yet. We don't have Longshot or Hover Boots.
But you can always get there.
You can, just not exactly the most appealing play currently.
No, there's a lot of other things I'd rather be doing.
That's for sure.
Finish at DC, farm up some cash and get that tunic, and you can finish out Fire. We could get 2 medallions right now. Again, without any real pain, except for farming up money.
Yeah.
Careful there, Fabio. Yeah. Don't spook the chickens.
Yeah, because you can buy a tunic with a wallet from Man on Earth to get to Fire. And chickens giving us just a heart piece today, so Cfalcon will not have a problem with that.
I think we're going to go check the graveyard heart piece.
Looks like it, yep. Sadly, not time of day for Dompe.
Oh, those are hover boots.
Those are hover boots. Well, that's Path to Bongo, thanks.
Well, Fabio appears to have actually made a really big brain play here, having decided to route this out with those beans. Amazing. I doubted,
knowing that this is Path.
Yeah, Path to Bongo.
You did get that hint. It was an SFM, so good play.
Oh no, Sponge, you can't play at this beat late to get his 4th bomb bag Path to King Dodongo.
And to also pick up his Din's Fire. Speaking of, Path to Bongo things.
Fabio is gonna be a Nocturne off from entering Shadow Temple on his first adult trip.
Mm-hmm. Scrubs are not shuffled. We have none of the sanities. No scrubs, no shops, no skulls, none of that.
Yes. So there are a couple of scrubs that are going to be on. They are these scrubs that normally give you upgrades. It's only a handful. Oh, that's bad. That's a bad pun, and I enjoy it. Thank you, for Fava-io and all the scenes.
That is a very bad pun, yes. Fabio safe scumming. I'm not sure what he just scummed, but he did.
Safe warped, not safe scummed.
Okay, wasn't quite sure.
Again, he's being so thorough, this child swing, and again, not at all my instinct. It looks like it might pay out for him.
Yeah, it is getting a little ridiculous, so in my opinion, well, I appreciate the thoroughness. I'm a very thorough player myself, and this is extremely thorough. I am not in a particularly punny mood today, so I'll leave it to chat. Oh, slingshot here for Fabio.
Ooh, okay, we'll let that happen because it looked good. We'll give you credit for that looking good.
That's the recovery heart, though.
Yeah, I think that was probably a little fussy at that rate. Like, I might have waited until hello, hookshot.
Yeah. Looking at our path hints so far, we have passed the Kingdom Bongo, Baronade, and Twinrova. Our final path is either Volvagia, probably for that hammer if it were, or for Hidden Ganon. And yes, Riley, we already have all 3 bomb bags, one of which was patented like the other 2 turn up not too long after. Game's being silly.
I mean, if we're lucky, we just have, No, never mind. Wait, no, maybe it could. It would actually be extremely interesting if, Forest it wasn't pinted.
No. Oh, he was cutting down the really close here.
It's fine.
Should make it, but it's close.
Plenty of time. We are good. Even here during daytime. Yeah, this has been a very thorough child one from Fabio, and again, like, I would say unusually thorough. Hello, we have a frog.
That's a certain type of vanilla.
It is. Oh, hi.
It's also not useful because we have Vigoron is dead, as that's a lens on the Impa cow, sure.
Well, it would be useful if we had... It would be useful if we got a little later. Because since it is a frog, we could use it for frog warping, but you have to give up on save quitting.
And yes, Wasteland Crossing is now in logic. We have Hoverbirds, Magic, Epona Song, Lens. Yep, fits all in.
Yeah.
What is this strange place that you get in these settings? The prescription.
And
yes, King's Aura is now in.
We don't have, oddly enough. We don't have, oddly enough, though. We don't have a bottle.
No, it's not.
We cannot have Paradox Letter until we see a bottle.
Nope. They could go look at Blue Fire in the shop, but they can't actually purchase it, not because they don't have the money, they don't have the wallets for it, but because they actually
don't like to purchase your finest Blue Fire. No, you can't hold it. Are you kidding me?
I think that comes up too often, but then again, Season 6 has thrown some really funky logic at people.
Yes, so people have noticed this is where the hammer was, that Cfalcon already has.
As he spots his hover boots there on the crate, which he cannot pick up yet, having not planted the bean and does not have long shot leader. Just cup your hands and run really fast. Well, Alfalfa.
Have you ever tried holding fire? No.
No. I won't spoil too much last issue. There was a Bolero Path to PG. Yeah, VXR. Bolero Paths are always fun. For some definition of the word, because Bolero requires logically locks very little, and so whenever it is path, usually that tends to imply there's some level of shenanigans. I remember
the simplest thing you can get is going to be some things on the volcano that is then locking your hover boots.
Otherwise, you're looking at some funkier logic. I remember a scene back in the days of, I think, Season 4, I want to say, back when we still had Wave the Hero hints, where Bolero was Wave the Hero. Yeah, Hover Boots were Sphere 0, so it wasn't that. So it wasn't Hover Boot, so it wasn't the Crater Heart Piece. Hi, Bo. So it wasn't the Crater Heart Piece, nor was it direct access to the song, because Hover Boots were in Mito's house that seed. What Bolero turned out to be Wave the Hero for was just DMC access, period, as adult, because Bolero locked all 3 bomb bags, all 3 strength upgrades, all 3 bows, and the hammer.
Yep. Yeah, I think I remember you were telling me this one at one point. Like, just, you could not get in.
You just literally could not get into Crater without it. That's why it was Wave the Hero. And I remember that I eventually worked out that our first logical bomb bag had to be on Skull Cadet seed, because otherwise the game made no sense.
Yep. Alright,
I have long forgotten how I deduced that, but that's what it came down to, as we get the shield for Fabio.
Yeah, so what is randomized? We have... The songs are randomized, or shuffled, they are between each other's places. We have... The dungeon rewards are shuffled between the dungeons. Our goal is still to collect 6 of these dungeon rewards and go beat up Ganon, and we have...
6
we also
medallions,
have
to be specific, not 6 dungeon
6 dungeon rewards. Yes, yep, this is slightly different, thank you. 6 medallions and go beat up Ganon. We also find So find all of the items we need to do that.
Use that double magic.
Yeah, why is it not in shadow? We also need to find the light arrows. Ganon will give us a hint for that. We are currently about to see Fabio go adult for the first time.
Yeah, game is throwing a lot of stuff at us. We need at least one. We need 2 strength upgrades. We need a Kokiri sword, but at least logically, I'm not sure about hardcore yet. Honestly, need a boomerang, need Rudos, need a pair of light arrows and a mirror shield, some other loose ends. But we've got a lot of stuff for 37 minutes.
Yeah, my guess
and watch
is
me
hardcore.
completely and totally comms curse this and turn this into a 3-hour scene with that sentence. Because that's how the game tends to be.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, so I think that it's pretty likely that is going to be a required carry sword, because it's very little
discussing the Monka-esque nature of Spirit being the forest medallion. Hi, OT's got Requiem.
Yeah.
Dear.
Yep. Oh, if OT's Requiem is needed, we have Logical Wasteland Crossing already, but also if we're looking at the Deku and Water, that is again a fairly low item requirement.
Yeah.
If I had, that would be what Fabio was going for, a mirror shield.
Yep. Crater's Path to Phantom Ganon as well. Okay, so that's probably for Saria Song, since that mirror shield was evidently Path for Twinrova.
Crater's also Path to Phantom Ganon. Okay, yeah, that's absolutely for
Saria Song, perhaps. But the issue is that Minuet's the Burning Cack, and Minuet is Burning Cack, and Forest is the Shadow Medallion. So the issue is, what's in Forest Temple locking Burning Cack?
Another strength upgrade?
Possible. Could be a few other things, but that's a little concerning and is good info in any case.
I would definitely be on the side of it's probably a strength upgrade in Forest or behind Forest.
Quite possibly, but there's no guarantees. Remember that Requiem we just found out about.
Burning Cack. It's Burning Kakariko. It is the song you get for collecting the Forest, Fire, and Water medallions. In Vanilla, it is the Nocturne of Shadow. Today, it's the Minuet Forest.
Yep. Zora Tunic in the Goron City Maze. Okay.
Oh, that's bad. Just bleeding. Thank you.
That is a very bad pun, yes. The thing to flashbacks a little bit to Fabio's first match in Season 6 brackets, which was against Why You So Epic. I was also commentating that one. And that one was Requiem on OT, and we had Shadow was a stone, Hover Boots were Path to Twinrova, and nobody on either the English or French restreams could figure out for ages. Because as we get our BGS uplink with the Goron, nice. So Hover Boots and Yuso versus Fabio turned out to be way of the hero Path to Twinrova because it wasn't for AD. Actually, it wasn't straight up for AD. Interestingly, Child Side Spirit did not have a key. As we get the other 1500 HP hit, Child Spirit did not have a key in that first match. It had 2 big chests. Neither of them were required. Funny enough.
Okay.
One was a wallet, the other was a big Goron sword for the giggles, plus a slingshot on the arch for the extra laughs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, hey, Requiem on all dungeons not required, but here's 3 major items locking behind it, none of them required. Yay! Thanks, game. So it wasn't all.
That's a keyword.
So Requiem. So Requiem wasn't required, but it was behind Shadow Temple, which is a stone, and it turned out that the hammer was also in shadow. It was also in shadow, and that locked the lens. Guess where the lens was in that seed, if you don't know.
Oh gosh, I don't remember this one. It was something.
It wasn't the only one and only GTG. It wasn't the one and only.
Right.
It wasn't GTG key logic. It's just GTG logic. The one and only check in GTG that is technically hammer locked. It's the it's the chest with the ring of fire around it. Technically, and by logic, you're supposed to.
Why don't we talk about? We have a question here about from someone in the chat. Yes, new to randomizers. they're playing different seeds, but they have the same items in the same spots. Okay, so by definition, if they have the same item in the same spot, that means they have the same seed. That means we have given the randomizer, we've given the program the same seeding, the same randomization number, and then we've had them patch their local files with that randomization seed. So they're going to be playing the exact same seed. All of their items are in the same place. All the medallions are in the same place. They have the same challenge put before them. And otherwise it'd be a little bit silly because these can have really high variance. You can go from having seeds that can take, as we saw in the SAT stream, oh yes, it's pseudo-random, not random, because everything is pseudo-random if you talk about coding, yes, but hush. We don't need to get onto the Bayesian probability rant. Why is Cfalcon not just finishing Fire? Probably because he doesn't want to finish Fire with this low of resources.
Yeah, technically it can, but might as well wait a bit and go do something else. But yeah, same seed. Cosmetics are not included in that. You can customize them as you like. That is why that is not an issue. As we find Zelda's Lullaby on menu. Okay, finally. That took a while to show up. Yeah, 6 hearts is enough, but you don't want to get anything out of beating Fire Temple. There's just other things to do. But yeah, having these seeds can be highly variable. We've seen some seeds, like, for top 64 runners, seeds can be as low as an hour and a half if you get an exceptionally lucky seed. And I think there's also been at least one brackets match that took 3 hours and 40 minutes for top 64, and the challenge cup's got even longer, so
yes.
It doesn't make sense to give one runner a sub 2 seed and the other a 4-hour seed. That's not fair and is not interesting.
Exactly. And yes, the 19 and the 51, that is the seeding that is the rank they got, the seeding they got in the qualifiers. We had large open qualifiers, and there was just a somewhat opaque determination of scoring based on time in each qualifier. And you add it all together, you subtract your top 1 and your bottom 2, and you take the ones in the middle, and you...
Bottom 3.
Bottom 3? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I don't even remember anymore. And you take your lowest, and you take your average. You would take those, add together, and the highest scores get the highest seeds.
Yeah. Also, yes, it is basically impossible to watch 2 separate seeds at the same time. Multi-world, which is almost 2 separate seeds at the same time, is hard enough as it is.
So welcome to Randomizer. This is it's a very large variety of games. This is the one for Ocarina of Time. There are ones for pretty much every Zelda game. There's ones for other games as well. If you end up liking what you see, there's probably one for a game you love.
There likely is. If it is...
If it's a game with goals, it probably has a randomizer. Starting breaking up a little bit.
Sorry.
Anyway, so while you fix that, Star, let me grab this.
Let me know if this is any better, Jax, or
That's
not.
That's better. Awesome. Perfect.
Okay, my Discord being stupid, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, just about anything can get just about like all the main series Zelda games, not counting remakes, HD, whatever the heck you have randomizers with the exception of Spirit Tracks, though I believe Phantom Hourglass Rando is in development. I'm not sure what the state of that is. Apparently the 3DS has some particularly strong 3DS games have some particularly strong anti-piracy protections or the like that are making those 2 games harder to randomize than the rest. But just about all the other Zeldas, main series Zeldas that can be randomized have been randomized. This is not counting the Four Swords games, which I think would be, I don't even know how you would randomize those, or Breath of the Wild.
As far as can anyone compete in these races, this is a tournament, the qualifier races matches already passed. The qualifiers were open, and there are weeklies every week. It is at, please correct me if I'm wrong, is it 5 Eastern on Saturday?
6 Eastern on Saturdays, 9
a.m. Okay, 5 Central, okay. And then 9 a.m. Eastern on Sundays. There's also just pickup races all the time on the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Discord.
Which I have linked in the chat.
Yep. So, yes, if you want to play, yes, you can absolutely play. The tournament itself is already in brackets, so no, you can't play the tournament. But if you want to play Randomizer and you want to race Randomizer, there are a ton of opportunities. Cfalcon, taking advantage of the fact that he has Fora's Wind to be able to not have to walk all the way back to Forest.
Yep,
He's
because
taking
Video is not turning up anytime fast.
He's taking Prelude back. I wonder what he's going to be up to.
Get
been doing a lot of
boots,
this
I
stuff.
guess, and then go do bomb cleanup, I guess, because he doesn't have a ton of appealing things to do, really, at the moment, frankly.
Yeah, like what, Adult Lake? Not great. I still
Especially
think
because he
that
doesn't have the bean, or, yeah, I mean, he doesn't
I
need
still
it,
think
yeah.
our song layout is telegraphing that there's probably going to be something nice and of interest in GTG, so that might be something I'd be interested in at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, Hover Boots and Composer Grave are things to get, but in general, though, they're just kind of a bit of a, what's the next thing to do? Because we don't have any really clear dungeons to do. Cfalcon found not much of anything in the forest courtyards, and they can't really get into most of their dungeons. They can't even logically go up Fire Temple because they don't have the strength to do that with.
Yeah, although I would probably still go jump my butt up Fire Temple at some point, but I would hold off on it now that I think about it. It's not really worth
Freaky
fishing
Fighter
for strength.
Yeah, Freaky Fighter Races on hold. We're planning to change those up, but priorities have changed for the organizers some, so we'll see about that. Prelude, no clue where it is, no hints for it. It's in the game somewhere. They may find it eventually, they may not, we don't know.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm thinking GTG. Like, GTG is really what I'm kind of, sitting on
was
right
Prelude
now.
in the Windmill? Sorry, I sort of just completely scattered right now. So they do have that, and I'm just missing it.
Yeah, Cfalcon has it. He's already used it once. So we'll see Fabio get it shortly.
Yep.
Fabio, richly rewarded for that 10 hearts. Or 10 hearts, 10 skulls.
10 skulls is a heart piece. He's at 6, and so is Cfalcon. Okay. And there's a frog for him. Beans for Cfalcon.
Really, no bottle means that is a pretty useless frog.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think now we're going to see Cfalcon actually going back and doing some of the stuff we saw Fabio doing an extra long Child 1. So I think Fabio is probably going to be our runner to watch here for a while.
Yeah.
The bow is on Dante Race, so we should get that shortly.
Yep, that's not an issue for Fabio. Yeah, Cfalcon's skipping river chests, so we're not going to be getting those for him for a while. I guess he wanted to rush CAC. I think it's for the time of day here, particularly, because he'd miss Dante digging if he stuck around river.
I think it would still be late for Dante digging. It was night when he was in the,
Maybe I wasn't quite keeping track. Anyhow, he skipped river checks, he's here in CAC, we'll get skulls. Yeah, we'll see the Composer Grave. We'll see, Composer Grave for him, because probably can't get that yet.
Yeah, Composer's going to give us our next song of interest. Again, Nocturne would be nice. Honestly, if I was Fabio and I got Nocturne, if I was able to get Nocturne after coming back from... Yeah, the only problem here is that, Fabio still has to go out to, Sacred Forest Meadow first.
Yeah, but Nocturne would actually make Shadow full clearable for him.
Nocturne's very appealing.
Yeah, Shadow full clearable would be nice because because they have all the items for it, but except for Nocturne.
Except for Nocturne and maybe a strength, but
logically they might need a strength. Practically they could not care less.
Practically no one actually uses a strength in Shadow. We just did you know that spikes aren't real and you can backflip through them?
Those spikes at least aren't real, no.
Yeah, they're very fake. Just fun fact. Have you tried backflipping through spikes today?
No, I have not. I would fall on my back if I tried to backflip spikes or not.
Yeah, that's your problem. You don't backflip, so the spikes are real for you. So.
It could also be storms, as chat mentioned, which would be nice to get them well here for Cfalcon, as there's the bow for Favio.
Spikes are like birds?
Yeah. Speaking of, hey, pup time.
Wait, where's my birds? Here we go. Birds.
And the song here is Nocturne.
Nocturne.
Alright. No big surprises there.
Yeah, this is a very early accessible shadow, and I think that we're gonna see Bobby go get that.
Yeah. Speaking of, for those who are not familiar with Cfalcon, just goes with Bob. For those who know him. So so chat's using those interchangeably. I've been trying to use Cfalcon, but I also know him better as Bobby myself.
Is that yes, because you're doing it. You and chat are doing it because I don't know him that well.
Yeah. And yes, it is Nocturne. It is Requiem on the Arcade of Time, not Nocturne. So yeah, Shadow's full clearable, not necessarily all in logic. That depends on if there's any strength locked keys, which we don't know about yet, but everything else is in.
Cfalcon doesn't have hover boots, but he's about to get them.
Yep.
Because they are in the graveyard crate, and he just planted a bean.
And he just also skipped the graveyard thing. Which, to be fair, is not important.
He'll go back there momentarily.
Well, that's not that important ultimately either. I don't know about him specifically, but we're only missing a 30 hint and it lasts sometimes, which is not exceptionally helpful.
Yeah.
Note that Crater Path to Phantom Ganon for Saria's Song could just well be for Zelda's Lullaby. Ludo's that has to be at the Phantom Ganon, unless the Mirror Shield has made it. Because it can't be the Mirror Shield, because the only thing we're missing for
the only thing we're missing right now is the only thing we're missing is strength upgrade, and everything
Mirror Shield locked is strength locked, yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be Saria's Song, which has to lock all of our strength upgrades somehow.
I don't find that to be too unlikely if we're talking about Saria's locking ZL. ZL locks a lot of the game. It locks all of Shadow Temple, for example.
It doesn't lock all of... It does lock all of Shadow today, so there's a good chance there's a strength in here, is the point I was getting to, Jax. You skipped several steps there.
Yeah,
we never saw Crater Fairy. There's also
a version advice here.
There is, I guess, a Crater Fairy, but that's also ZL locked in any case. Presumably, since... well, because we know Crater locks all strengths, it also directly locks all of our all Twins of Spirit, which is locking Minuet. So that solves why Sarius' path, because it does lock Minuet by way of strengths. But that wasn't as clear before we found our Bill off Dompe race, so that got solved relatively quickly anyway.
Point being, what's path in Crater? Yes. Why is path in Crater? Also yes.
More or less at this point, yeah.
But because we know we have to get multiple strengths, we're gonna have to do so we have to have multiple strengths. The Saria's Song and ZL Complex is going to lead us that direction. Although having Zelda's Lullaby being our hint as to where our strengths are isn't the most useful thing. Zelda's Lullaby does lock a lot of the game. Like I said, it locks all of Shadow Temple.
It does lock several things, but it also doesn't lock that many things depending on their perspective of it. It depends a bit on the seed.
The other problem is that the things it directly locks, aside from all of Shadow Temple, in this case, since Nocturne is in Composer Grave, the other things it locks are all just spread out very far across the world.
Yep.
Because all those fairy fountains really far apart.
Water Temple is not exactly something I don't feel like doing right now either.
Well, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it without Iron Boots or Gold Skill and Longshot, so I don't think I feel like
those can
either.
turn up, is the thing.
Oh, yeah. So very easily, you could be seeing some strength inside of water.
Yep.
Looks like Fabio is going to go for Volvagica, which...
He does have Choose, so this should be doable, so it'll be tight.
He also has bigger round swords. This is not as tight as it would be otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 hearts is plenty for a top 64 player.
Also, with bigger round sword and a bow, you don't even need bombs to 2-cycle Volvagia. You see, as long as you get 2 arrows in on her in the fly cycle, you can take her out in a 2-cycle quite easily.
Yeah, so for those who don't know how that just works, so the devs stuck some interesting ways to code the game. One of them being that there are actually two separate hitboxes for Velagia. One that flies around and the other that you play whack-a-mole with. The one that flies around, when not flying, will be in the hole that Velagia last flew into. You can damage that hitbox by chucking a bomb or bomb shoe at it. And that is a way to speed the fight up considerably. It does know that it's not you should not have the explosives centered on the hole. It should be slightly off-center generally, but hitboxes are fun, and OOT is a well-coded video game. It's actually kind of neat that they did it that way, honestly.
Exactly. On the first cycle, you need to have it on the... Basically, these look like little hexagons. You need to have it on the point hexagon closest to you. If you do not quite get enough damage in and she goes into a fly cycle, you have to really pay attention to where she actually goes into the hole and go to that exact spot, that exact side of it.
Yep.
Although, if you got to that point, you may want to shoot a whole bunch of arrows and pray.
Yeah. Oh, another big chest here for Cfalcon. Giving us a Stone of Agony.
That's right. Right,
yeah.
Right. It's not.
There's 11 skulls for him. Still no 30 hit, which is mildly concerning. Not too bad, since you're collecting skulls anyway, but... oops, skull seeds do happen sometimes. Randobot likes to do some interesting things.
Also, just being very tidy and reflecting your first 20 can be a good way to defend against a weird check.
Yep.
Like, yes, it's just one check, but so is chickens.
Yep. Fabio, I still do not care all that much for his color combination today, but I will say that at least he's got it matching.
It is coordinating.
It's not my favorite thing ever, but it is coordinated.
Yeah, the mirror shield looks better.
It does.
It's got kind of more like a nice little patina gold thing.
Yeah. Okay, so note here is that technically the two top chests in this room are strength blocks because logically you're supposed to go pull a strength block out to go get on top of the crushers. Nobody really cares, but you're logically supposed to go do that. So
yeah, logically you're not allowed to. Logically, you should not be able to shove your body through spikes.
Nope. There's nothing up there though, so it's a moot point.
Yep. I mean, it is Link. It is a mute point. What's really fun in Shadow is when you get a key up there on the top of the crushers, but it's still not quite strength locked because there's a strength right before the last key lock. So the game expects you to go all the way up to the last door in Shadow, get your strength, and then go back and get the key.
Yep.
Or you can just back through some spikes.
Because OT is a well-coded video game and collision is interesting.
I mean, in some level it is a well-coded video game because it doesn't crash when you do all this crap.
Yeah, it still crashes. Sometimes it doesn't crash as often as you think, considering the state of the coding. It is, to be fair, more than 20 years old. So.
Also, it's so well-coded you can code other games with it.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. There's some interesting shenanigans you can do with SRM.
Yeah. Oh, that's how you do that. Yep. I was wondering how people did that when they don't want to collect the skull. So Cfalcon is saving his Ferora's Wind in Forest. Typically, this is a great spot to use your Ferora's Wind to avoid having to do this kill room. But one of the ways you can handle this is using those bomb shoes on either side. And I was thinking about this the other day. How do you handle that with the Skulltula there? And apparently, you just take a step back. Yeah. But setting those bomb shoes up against the wall there was to kill two keys there at the top of the platform next to two bomb flowers.
Yeah.
Bomb shoes, they're still useful even if you have logical explosives.
Yep. So actually, that pod room reminded me. We found out this past weekend that not for that particular pod room, but the other pod room in Shadow. You know, the one in the way back with the giant pods spinning around and a skull in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a soft lock apparently that you can get yourself stuck into in that room.
Well, that's new. I did not know that.
So, speaking of funky collision, poor Mr. Mario found out the hard way this past Saturday. On main branch, this does not apply to Roman's branch, where you can move freely during a sculpture cutscene. When you pick up a sculpture token, you are frozen in place during that text box, right?
Yes.
The pots are not frozen in place, as that's an interesting spot for our first bottle.
Yeah, quite interesting.
But yeah, those big 3 spinning pots are not frozen in place. You are, but the pots aren't.
Oh dear, so the pots run into you and you...
Get stuck, yes.
Oh dear. Also,
yeah,
let's just can we circle back to that bottle? Do we have a hint for Big Pose?
We do not.
That could be a potential strength location.
Yeah, here is a clip of said clip.
Marvelous.
You do, in fact, just get clipped into a pot. They did not have bombs in that seed, so Mr. Mark could not do that. Bombs will... Normally you need to chuck the bomb into the pot from the top, because these bombs have the same hitbox as the one you bomb for the freestanding key. They work the same way and are coded similarly. Normally you'd have to chuck it in from the top, but if you're clipped into the pot, I guess you could hit the hitbox directly or something. Because bombs work fine. Bomb chews are harder, though. You need to apparently have them explode immediately, because otherwise they'll run away from the hitbox you need.
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh no.
So, Mr. Mario got stuck and had to see it put out. Because he had no bombs and wasn't having any luck with the bomb chews. It's not obvious. It makes sense once you know what it is, but until you've seen it, it's not something you think about. Yeah,
because you very rarely go for that skull in general, because it's a bit of an awkward room. You tend to only go for it for, your very high skull collection seed and you're in Shadow reasonably early. And yeah, someone did point out it's very unusual to be in Shadow this early, but we are completely in Logic here, so sure. Yeah, Shadow has a lot of checks in it, so it's a great place to be. They have yielded all of the Stone of Agony and a bottle, so, maybe not the most rewarding thing, but possible, but, useful enough.
Yep.
I think we'll probably see Favio follow him in, now that he has Zelda's Lullaby, if he decides to go to the graveyard and pick up the song.
Yep. Yeah, OT hitboxes strike again. What's up with that clip? So here's your PSA. Don't do that to yourself. It also might be a particular problem because there's not a lot of large moving objects like that that you need to be worried about with the skulls, to be honest.
It's true. Yeah, what are hitboxes?
Yeah, that was a 40 Skulls Light seed, and Shadow was the first medallion we saw that day, so that was why we ended that race, so that's why we ended up getting that skull so quick. And yeah, do not recommend.
We've learned something new today.
Yeah, I learned it last week, and we're just like, we didn't even realize what happened at first, because what?
Because it makes perfect sense now that you describe what's going on, but yeah.
Yeah, like in hindsight, I knew what was going on, but it's like, in the moment, it's like, did Mario just get stuck in a bad question mark?
Alright, so it looks like Favio is going to be walking down towards Kakariko, so he'll probably get Nocturne and jump straight into Shadow, and have another medallion done. Now, the thing is, we just don't have... I just need to figure out what to do about that whole hint of ZL goes to strength.
Yeah, because unless it's on Bongo, it's not this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be on Bongo for all we know.
Yeah, which is why I said unless it's on Bongo, but... Because Shadow's a light medallion, so it doesn't lock anything else. The DMT and DMC fairies were useless for Favio. Composer Grave was hinted to be dead. So, nothing else much is immediately ZL-locked they can do right now.
A really unfortunate thing that could be on the table, Colossus Fairy.
Yeah, it's really out of the way and you really don't want to go do it, but it is technically a thing that exists.
It's in Logic and it starts and has ZL. Darunia is an option that's got ZL and Sarias involved.
Darunia does exist. And note that the Goron pot is not relevant because we have Din's magic to do it. Instead, you don't need ZL.
That's true.
Another thing that makes
Go.
sense once you think about it, but is not obvious at first, is you may not logically need Zelda's Lullaby to go light the torches.
I mean, there's a whole, like, there is a long, long list of niche applications of Din's Fire. It's one of the weirder items in the game as far as niche logical applications.
For sure. Mirror Shield is on the volcano in the crater. Cfalcon knows where it is, he'll pick it up later.
Oh yeah, late happy 1 hour. Yeah, we were just paying attention to everyone, like, beating... We were paying attention to these awesome runners, Cfalcon and Favio. We paid these awesome runners, beating the seed, beating dungeons, instead of actually paying attention. They've been doing it for an hour. So, yeah. Cool runners, follow them. Watch them do more weird stuff. Thank you to our trackers. This isn't baseball, and Vela. Hi, Vela. Who have been keeping track of all of these items and medallions for you today. And I'm Jack Astronomy. I've been here with Star, and we are figuring out what's going on here, maybe.
Yep. Probably going to go do Shadow now, so we won't see anything new for the next 15 minutes, and Cfalcon is off to go beat Volvagia, so I've got a little bit of downtime here. So, reviewing our Go Mode list, that would be 2 strength upgrades, a Boomerang, a Rudo's Letter, and light arrows for sure.
Yes, likely a Kokiri sword because we have a indication that one of those either Boomerang or Rudo's Letter is behind Deku Tree.
But it's not a full guarantee yet.
Yeah. However, considering we do have Lab Dive as hinted dead, there's very few other things that could be a weird path to AD. Or weird path to
GTG key logic.
GTG key logic, point taken. Although, even very little with that. Iron Boots, perhaps.
Iron Boots particularly,
That's about it, though. Everything else would be ordinary, like, things we need. Like, strength. Like, bombs. Like, bow. Like,
oh, we have
hammer.
bombs and bow, I should add.
But yeah, we have bombs and bow and hammer and hookshot. Those are all, there's not, we already have so much time. Like, the only thing that can strike with GTG key logic is the toilet.
So not a lot of things, it is what it is.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty... Spirit key logic, even spirit key logic, I think is pretty rare because we have a child ranged weapon. We have a little thing, maybe a long shot,
Well, we do know that the work class's right hand is dead, so there's also that. So.
Oh yeah, this is not even a long shot. Yeah, so we have. Yeah,
there's a relative few things.
Yeah, Cfalcon did attempt. He did not catch on fire, and that's very good for him. He tried.
That was not the best of Volvagia fights. Has just enough time.
Healed. It's great, but that doesn't actually restore your timer.
Nope, because you picked it up while the timer was active.
Yeah, so that is always the trick with Volvagia, with doing Fire Temple, with doing deep dives in water. That's the real reason people want health. Honestly, I'm perfectly content going through most seeds with 5 hearts, because 5 hearts is enough to give you defense against a one-hit KO. I'm not happy with 5 hearts in Fire Temple.
Yeah, I think it's almost time to go to GTG. We're running out of things to do, really.
Yeah, GTG feels very strong in this seed.
Bob will get the mirror here shortly, I think, assuming he remembers it.
The central pillar in Water Temple, the check that the only check you logically need Zora Tunic for in this game. Yeah, you could do it in like 5 hearts pretty contentedly. 6 would be better.
Yep.
Honestly,
Mirror
Fire
Shield is
Temple's
on the volcano.
thing. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be going for a setup here.
It's okay.
Shove your face in the corner and backwalk.
Yeah. There.
I can't tell if that's a really cool color or if it's just really weird lighting.
The volcano does have really bizarre lighting, so I don't know either. We'll see it once he puts it on. GTG into Spirit seems like the next obvious play, yeah, because we are low on stuff. We have no dungeons to do. We have not any obvious overall locations to go to either. They cannot go Ice Cavern. King Zora Skip is banned in this tournament, so that's not the thing.
Yeah, I would say that the only potential thing would be add on a... Not even that, like, maybe add on Adult Lake, but... The thing is, it wouldn't even be 2 strengths for Spirit. It would be GTG into Colossus, most likely. Because what we're looking at Colossus right now, we might be seeing, if it's a important song, if it storms at Colossus, you might need it to get your strengths.
Yeah, Storms will be the one though, because the other 2 are Serenade and Suns, and we know Frogs 2 and the Sun Song Grave are both dead from hints.
I mean, you also look for 2 strengths along the way, but, like, that's a seed being nice. That doesn't happen.
Randobot's been of late, yeah. Prelude here for Cfalcon, so he's probably going to head off to GTG from here.
Yeah, you hope for the best, presume the worst.
We do not know Serenade is vanilla. We know that the final chest in Ice Cavern is dead. We have no idea where Serenade is. There is exactly nothing involving our hints or item placement to tell us anything at all about the placement of our remaining songs.
Well, Cfalcon is setting night for reasons. To make it easier to get to GTG at the right time of day?
I guess for some skulls? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, he's doing a...
Big pose on the way as well.
Yeah, night for HPA timing makes sense to me. That's one check, but it's an important one.
Yeah. Don't want to leave it behind, because if you do, it might bite you. And yes, I'm pretty sure just about every single check in the game has cost someone a race at some point over the course of the 5 odd years of OoTR racing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do mean in every single check. Including my mishaps.
Walking past GTD Silver Block while you have Strength 2 on.
Yep. I have seen
that.
I have seen a person lose I think it was either Winners Finals or Grand Finals, I forget which, of the Random Settings League Season 1 tournament. By way of misidentifying the item on top of DC. That felt really bad. There's always something. Chickens many times. There's things like the Well-Beastment. Because even the best of runners just sometimes don't have a good day for whatever reason. Maybe they just got unlucky with routing. Maybe
there are like 200 some checks in the base version of this game before you get into random setting stuff.
Yeah, it's like
I can't remember 200
some stuff
in these consistently.
Settings.
I can't remember where I put my keys. Where are my keys? I haven't seen them in a while. I should probably find them.
Yeah, like every single check. There's the crater wall. There's a graveyard crate. There's this grotto that you can go into. They have in older seasons, in fact, been given nicknames relative to the runners who forgot them, but we try to avoid them now, since it has been quite a while, and they have largely faded from the common memory. Just a bloopy today. I have seen like Icy Waters. 10 Skulls has been skipped many a time. If there was a check in the game, someone has skipped it at some point and lost to it. But yeah, like even the best of runners just sometimes don't have a good day. Like either Winners Finals or Grand Finals of RSL, and someone then misidentified the item on top of DC. Sometimes it just happens. You might just get unlucky with routing. Perhaps time of day just didn't quite work out the right way. Maybe you misread a hint. Sometimes stuff just happens, and that's just that, and that's how randomizer goes.
Honestly, the other thing with that is you can get things that look exceptionally like other things, and you can just misidentify them entirely. Like, for example, sometimes the hammer, it looks a lot like the ice arrows.
Yeah. Oh, someone in chat noting that apparently a person misidentified a boomerang on Queen Coma as a stick in a qualifier. Yowp! Yes, that happens.
Yep.
Sometimes
been there, done that.
Yeah.
Not done that one in particular, but
yeah, things happen. As the point is, we don't like to be too harsh on runners. Because the thing too is, like, we're sitting here in the commentary booth and in the chat, just watching them. We've got two people that compare side by side.
We don't need to be on this topic. We don't need to be on this topic right now, though, because both these runners are doing great. They're not making mistakes right now. Like they're doing.
No, true. To be clear, they've both been doing very well.
Like, one thing we can do is criticizing Favio slightly about
very thorough routing.
Very thorough trial routing, because it was like, it's an unconventional choice, and right now it's put him a little bit behind Cfalcon, but if you look at
later.
Yeah, but if you look at what are we looking for later, Cfalcon may have to go back and do all those checks later. So again,
always pros and cons.
Yeah, I think that he was a little bit too. I mean, many people might say that that was a little bit on the conservative side to start. But there's a lot of people who say that being conservative to start and then aggressive at the end is a good routing strategy. So,
I mean, nothing is always an end-all be-all in Randomizer, or at least very few things.
Yeah.
Because...
I can tell you one thing as an end-all be-all Randomizer star.
Yeah?
Epona is dumb.
That it is. The coding is
running straight into a wall.
Yep. I will say that generally, just in general, one thing to know is that we're sitting here in the commentary booth in the chat. We've got two people side by side, and we're just watching them. It is a very different thing to have the controller in your hands or have the keyboard under your fingers, in the case of our keyboard runners like Favio, and be playing the game and thinking about everything at the same time, because that is a very different story.
Yeah.
To try and have to execute and play and think at the same time, which can be quite different as we get a whole bunch of nothing off HPA 1000. Yeah.
Although I will say, I will say, just hopefully for my own ego's sake, I'm pretty sure Favio does think at a pretty high level while he executes, because he is our Triforce Blitz rating champion, which is game mode that focuses on exceptional logic reading skills.
That's for sure. Not to say that they don't, just that it is harder to do so.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things going through. In the middle of a race, you've got an opponent against you, and there's a lot to think about.
Oh yeah, I mean... yeah, Schultzer, just get on my level. Just get on our level. Just get on Blitz player's level. It's great. It's fun.
Alright, GTG though got 2 keys in the lobby. We should actually count these things, probably.
Yeah.
Because logic is a thing.
Yeah, GTG key logic is really fun because key logic, like GTG, is one of the places where this really shows up. Spirit shows up. This is the game preventing you from inventing a better idiot and being able to and not be able to finish the game. So this is saying that if you do the absolute worst thing with your keys, can you still get into the item you need to finish the game? So in the case of GT key logic, this means that unless you have Song of Time or 9 keys, you cannot get these 3 items on the right side of maze that Cfalcon is about to show us. It also means that if there's an item here in the center of maze, which let's see, there is not. But if there was a big chest in the center of maze, you would need 9 keys to get there, even though you only need to open. You only literally need 7 keys to do it.
Yep.
Yes. Jax 1v1 whenever my work schedule eases up, dude, I'll take you on.
I feel you on that work. It was at work. There's left side. There's at least 1 key. I can't remember which one switched between them, but
yeah. Although I don't know if it matters very much because I didn't see any big chests.
I'm more wondering how many keys we have left that we can't get to.
Exactly.
And so knowing how many keys we have seen is important to knowing how many keys are left, because we cannot get everything in here. We don't have Iron Boots for the toilet, and we don't have Strength 2. Or even Strength 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 so far is my count as well, Tannerin.
Yes, I'm still struggling to fit in my Challenge Cup matches right now.
Speaking of the Challenge Cup, don't forget to go and check out twitch.tv/thesilvergauntlets, because we have a parallel tournament running to the top 64 for the runners who placed 65th through 128th in qualifiers. Jax is one of said runners, and so is one of our checkers, Vela.
Yeah, and a lot of the people who are in Challenge Cup were in top 64 last year, and there's this band of people from I don't know, 72 through 98 who are all within 50 qualifier points of each other. It's incredibly good people. And it's really fun to watch. It's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think there were 2 keys total left side there, but yeah, there's a lot of really, really good runners. We got plenty of CC alums in the top 64 as well. There was quite a lot of shakeups in the qualifiers this season both ways. So if you want more action, please do check out the Silver Gauntlets. We hold 3 streams regularly as well over there, and we welcome new volunteers and members of the community on that site as well as here. As this is the CC is a sister tournament to the top 64. There's key number 6.
Yeah, lots of. So there's been a lot of items left over in GTG.
Right, that's key 7 actually. There's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you want the more gameplay, there is plenty to be had. I believe there are 17 matches scheduled between the top 64 and the Challenge Cup on Saturday alone. It's nuts. 10 top 64, 7 Challenge Cup. So if you want OoTR action, there's a ton to be had.
Best time of the year to be a Zooter fan.
Yeah, for sure. And they have tournaments year round because the Silver Gauntlets doesn't just host a Challenge Cup. We also host the Triforce Blitz tournament, and we host the co-op tournament as well, and as various other side things, including Pictionary races. Pictionary is good fun. It's like a spoiler log race, except for you don't have your spoiler log reader tell you where to go directly in words. You have them draw pictures instead.
There has been some incredible art and some incredible art. From the Pictionary.
Incredible.
Both of them are very appreciated.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been... I mean, I'm not going to... We get to wait for these last 2 checks, but this has been a very surprisingly dry GTG.
Yeah. Chad is memeing it up a little bit. Ooh, big chest as we see it. Just GTG's dry. Well, it's
yes, it is dry. There's nothing in that bottle.
No, there isn't. I don't know if Pierre chest is a key.
If you have a drawing tablet, it's absolutely allowed.
Yeah. So yeah, that bottle is nice to have, but really doesn't do anything at all. I don't know if Pierre chest was a key, and I'm not 100% certain I saw the keys on the left side of the maze. We have a maximum of 2 keys left behind between the checks behind Strength 2 and the toilet, so there's at least 3 items left in GTG. Possibly 4, depending on how many I can count. Game Live actually had Charade's spoiler log, which was its own variety of entertainingly silly. We actually just acted out various checks for the runner to do.
Oh gosh, Charade sounds wonderful.
It's kind of difficult to do over the internet with a camera, but in person that was really fun.
Yeah. Alright, so it looks like Cfalcon is going to be biting the bullet in crossing. I think that at this point we're running low on things to do that aren't that. I think, actually, Favio is probably doing one of the things that is not crossing first before heading over to GTG, which I do agree with, having seen the, contents of GTG. You know, since we get to sit here as the eye in the sky and see that, oh, well, GTG has nothing, so we agree with you going to Hylia for adult lake checks first.
He does not know that. To be clear, now that I think items are doing it, do not watch your opponent's stream while doing a randomizer race. It is strictly banned unless otherwise specified, which is very rare, and just don't do it, please. Yeah, there's also a 20-minute delay to make that not happen. So it would also be somewhat obvious, yes. Unfortunately, as much as we would all love to think that people are nice and will in fact be integral and not cheat, unfortunately, there's
things have happened, but I do kind of like, these are people who I would trust to be above board.
Yes, not that we think that these guys specifically have, just in general, unfortunately, there have been many a cheater in the randomizer history, both for OT and for others. Please don't, people. Speaking as someone who is a tournament organizer, I'm a member of the TSG org team, Silver Gauntlets org team, as well as for others. It really sucks.
Yes, and that is actually a good point. It's really a point from Axel Ryman. As a courtesy, don't spoil results of very recent races because, hey, people like me are working kind of crazy hours right now as well, so we might want to go watch some of those back, and we would like to not know what the result is before we start.
Oh, for sure. General policy is minimum 24 hours.
Yeah. Although there's an idea that I had at one point that'd be kind of fun, because I play, one of my other things that I play is Pokemon Crystal, which is Cinco Bingo, which is where you have a bingo board, which is shared between, and there are also bingo modes for Ocarina of Time and Ocarina of Time Randomizer.
Yep.
I was thinking it'd be entertaining as like a trial race for a fun mode to have shared trackers, so you can't see where your you can't see where your opponent is, but you can see what their tracker has on it.
And to be clear, yes, if you accidentally activate an illegal glitch and you do not benefit from it and cancel it immediately, you are fine, because OT is a well-coded video game, and yes,
And
it is possible to cancel
30...
it sometimes. As why is that there? Hello? Game?
The Fury Sword is 30 skulls. That is in logic. That is a logical thing to cross for. And may I bring back Star saying, I don't know why they're checking hints. That's not really that important. Oh god, this is awful.
I may have conquered this very hard. Also, what's on the Colossus Arch? I could not tell.
It looked like a purple rupee to me.
I didn't think it looked purple, but there's something up there. Chat, got any ideas? It can't be Iron Boots on the arch. The arch is behind Requiem, and Requiem's behind Water Temple, which is behind the Iron Boots.
Oh gosh, we need to go do more child cleanup, and we need that Kokiri sword. So we need to go rush 30.
Yeah, they're at like, I think last I checked for skull counts, which is not great. Shout out to Serenade being at Colossus, meaning that they don't have any storms checks to do either. Yay!
Yeah, well, they got 2
really
bottles.
bad spot for that hint, yes, BXR. Fabio will get the hint for Kokiri's when he crosses the wasteland, which I think he will do after GTG, considering that he has done all the child cleanup that Cfalcon hasn't done yet. Yeah, no Sunsong either. It's gonna be a fun 30 skulls, and it's really looking like it considering we're running out of things to do. We've got that. We've got the lens game. Let me go find the list someone put in chat. We've got that. We've got lens game, Skull Kid, Darunia, Goron Pot, King Zora exists. We have 2 wallets and a bottle and CL.
Yeah. And there might be the rest of fire is currently out of logic. However, there could be some if you had an inkling that you wanted to go further in fire, it might be okay, because there are 3 skulls that are pretty accessible there with our current loadout. Out of logic, but logic is a suggestion.
It is, considering you maybe you are hoping that the path is a bit more logical than hard required, or at least that you can find something to make it a little less annoying to go rush 30 skulls in an hour and a half, because that's not fun.
So
yeah,
wait,
those strikes at an hour and a half is kind of unusual, but that's how this scene decided to go.
Yes. Thinking about this.
Alfalfa. Remember that person who said the scene looked really fast, like 20 minutes in?
Yeah. You never say it's a jet until you are landed and stop at the terminal and you are getting off the plane.
Because there's always
something can always come up. However, thinking about this, if we know our logic about the ZL and Saria song locking all of our strengths, we really should go check Skull Kid. We really should check Darunia. Because if neither of those things locks a strength, I think that actually means our strengths are behind Ice Cavern.
Decent possibility of ice. Yeah, at least one of them has to be, because there's not a whole lot of ZL locked.
We do have indication that Staria's song locks our strengths, because it's going to be spirit.
Because
Staria's song has. Sorry.
Yes.
Because this is going to lock our. This is going to lock Spirit Temple. It has to lock Spirit Temple as well, and Spirit Temple is going to be. It has to lock all of them, because Staria's song is on the path. This also involves Forest Temple.
Is on the path to Phantom Ganon. Mirror Shield cannot be path to Phantom Ganon, because the only thing we're missing for beating Phantom Ganon is a strength, and everything that's mirror locked is also strength locked. So it has, and the 2 crater paths cannot point to the same item, so it has to be Saria's song to Phantom Ganon. And there's not, and it locks CL and a couple child checks, and that's about it.
So we may be looking at Ice Cavern, and it would be so nice if we were able to keep that frog, but oh no, that was so early.
I mean, yes, Tal. There's a single small key and a ZL lock check for Spirit Temple. The menu is behind Starry Song for forest access. While that is true, that still doesn't negate the fact that we need strength upgrades.
Yeah. Also, could a strength be in Forest Temple? In theory, yes. In practice, we do not have. We've already cleared out every non-strength block checked in Forest Temple.
No,
So we need one strength to get to a second strength.
But it can't be.
We need at least
first.
one more. We just need one more strength. We need one strength to find out. Alfalfa, you say 1500 don't play on keyboard, kids, and yet you are still trying to convince me to duel you in control swap. And yet I still think it's a great idea, and I will do it one day.
Yeah, so the third strength would have to be strength locked for 2 strengths to be Way of the Hero, but the issue is that it's not our strengths that are Way of the Hero, it's items that lock the strengths in our path right now. Important distinction. Because for Randomizer, Way of the Hero, or Path, which is a special form of Way of the Hero that's directed to specific dungeons in this case, is items that are logically required to beat the seed. If you took it out of the game, the logic would think that the game is unbeatable, and that would be a problem. So, for example, if Fire Temple is required medallion, your hammer is guaranteed path to Volvagia because you kind of need a hammer to beat Volvagia even with glitches. You genuinely cannot deal the final blow to Volvagia without a hammer. It is not possible. You have to have it. But this gets more nuanced when you've got multiple items so, like, for example, our bomb bag today is path to King Dodongo from Lake Hylia because it locks both of the other bomb bags. If there were 2 or more bomb bags available, then none of them would be path because you could get any one of them. They are functionally identical. Getting a second bomb bag does absolutely nothing new for you in logic. It just gives you more ammo. That's it. The same thing goes for for bows, slingshots, magic meters, and wallets. Not wallets, actually no. Bows, slingshots, magic, bomb bags, those are all functionally identical. No matter how many copies you have, it will not change what you can do with them.
There's also some like weird stuff with tunics and wallets being interchangeable for certain applications.
Yes. Or like ocarinas if you have those shuffled. All these Ocarina of Time does absolutely nothing different in the code from the Fairy Ocarina. It's the exact same thing. So that is another case of where it is functionally identical. If a second copy of the item does do something different, such as long shots, such as hook shots, strength upgrades, scales, for example, then how many copies are available at the same time matters. So, for example, if Force is a medallion and Spirit is a stone, having a strength be in a Way of the Hero location means that depending on things, Strength 1 can be where the hero locks both other strengths, but if 2 strengths are available and the strength is path, then it must be that both strengths are locking something behind Strength 2. There is an important distinction. Whereas Hookshot and Longshot, if both are available, then that gets more nuanced than just having your first Hookshot locking your second.
Yeah, I don't know what my original conclusion was about the strengthened. I think that again, if there's one key lock in a ZL locked key in Spirit, it is correct. However, like considering we had a strength locked fire, I would put my chips down on that one. Like I think it's I would put my chips down on that one. Honestly, it is genuinely like with a fire that can be completed without strength, with a very early hover boots. It almost feels like the seed wants you to do that without strength.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, so the thing too, like with fungible items, like this can be extended. So even in Plentiful,
Compulsory chest is hinted dead, yes.
Yeah. Like in Plentiful, where there is 1 extra copy of most major items, then you'll have like 4 strengths, 3 slingshots, 4 slingshots, 3 hook shots, and so on. The whole copies of things that are functionally identical in the like gets a little more complicated, but is more or less an extension of the same. But also with things like if there are in boss key sanity, Plentiful duplicates boss keys, so your 4 simple boss key can only be path to Phantom Ganon in Plentiful if the other 4's boss key is unavailable for whatever reason, such as it being on Phantom Ganon, because the game does that sometimes.
because the game loves putting important things in fan game. We're already at 20 skulls from Falcon, by the way.
Yep.
We're just in full-on skull rush.
Pretty much, and Fabio's gonna get the information here soon as well.
Probably join in this skull rush as well.
I think so, yeah.
Feels bad having to, like, you know, switch to skull rush phase, but they've
got nothing else to do, so
yeah, it happens. And also, you managed to finish out, you know, half your dungeons before you had to, you know, yield to that. So not too bad.
Yeah, and so that's also why we're going off on this tangent about logic, is the gameplay presently is, well, not the most interesting we've ever seen.
Yeah. But yes, the whole the whole idea of, you know, the whole idea of, like, okay, so what do we think? Yeah, there's a new setting that the skull will tell you the rewards at the schoolhouse. Okay, I find that a weird setting. And someone, so there is a new setting that's possible. I've played with it a bit because the new Blitz S2 settings do have the 20 skull hint enabled. And I don't know, I don't think that it's like, I'm not sure it adds as much as people think it's going to. Like, I think people, you know, I think people over-determine how much, oh, I found this hint late. Like, the seed would have routed cleaner if you'd had that hint, but also you would have had... There's probably going to be a meta that develops over, oh, just don't read it, because it's never anything. Or read it when you turn in 10. Or read it, and like, if you don't turn in 10, so what?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be debate, and there's a matter of what do you do with the skull hints if you send them to the skull house. Like, do you keep them in the regular hit distro? Do you remove them? But then what do you do if you remove them? Because that's always a challenge.
Yeah, update. Yeah, shout out to Cfalcon for updating his personal skull tracker. I see that Cfalcon is also using the Gossip Stone tracker, because I can see that on his layout. I love keeping it a tidy notation of my skulls while I'm going. Just because it's helps me figure out how many more I have to hunt down.
Yeah, and Skull Kid does not help with our Crater Path to Phantom Ganon puzzle. Thanks for this heart piece.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this would have been more interesting to play or watch if I had known 30 earlier. I think I would have just, you know, rushed skulls earlier. I think people will still just complain about skulls because they don't like them. I think that's just I mean, this is just like one of my personal theories, is that it's a profitable thing to do as a anti-meta play, to just like buckle down and route your skulls early.
Yeah, I mean, it could very well just be for Spirit Key Logic VXR, but there's also no guarantee that it isn't. It is the challenge with our Saria's path. There's Fabio getting the bad news.
He didn't even really read that. He just, like, rolled over to the right, over to the skull. As the sun's setting. Just easy as you please.
Yep.
It's almost like he's like,
getting skulls.
I knew it, you dirty game. You cannot hide from me.
I mean, he's also just running out of checks. He has to be thinking about even just 20 by the time he got here. So, as he hit that
he's at
17,
so he was thinking about it.
I mean, he's done all the child cleanup because he had such a thorough child 1, so he knows, even before getting here, that he was running really, really hard out of checks, and that if it wasn't Storms at Colossus, he was probably going ham on skulls, which, yep, we're going ham on skulls.
Yep.
And actually, he hasn't tried the song cutscene yet, which is a good note, because this song cutscene at Colossus says it's time to...
Here you go, kid.
Thanks, Darunia. I mean, it's a major item, it's nice to have, but it doesn't do anything for them, is the problem.
When you have 8 hearts and double defense, if you die, something has gone remarkably wrong.
Yeah.
I've been a touch late, I hope not. Good. Now, Falcon will be hitting 30 in this segment no matter what. He will, if he likes it or not, because he just has nothing else to do.
Yeah, they're really just don't have much to do. It is it's interesting because we talked earlier about how Fabio's so thorough, but he's gonna have to backtrack to some areas for skulls alone that Cfalcon's routing with, with checks he skipped earlier. Yeah. So it's pros and cons on that front. This, I think, is skull, 819, I think, off the OGC for Fabio?
Yeah, 19 off OGC. Lens Game, Castlefairy, KZ, and Deku. Yeah, that actually puts Fabio into a really nice position.
Mm-hmm. Daria's could be for logical forest access, yes. But it's not like we have any other guidance to follow right now is the problem. We're just out of stuff to do, really.
Yeah, we're very short on things to do at the moment.
They're rushing 30 skulls because they've done just about everything else there is to do in this game, so they're doing it. 103 minutes without strength. Yep, Hagmania, we're still strengthless.
Yeah, these runners need to really bulk up here.
They really do. Speaking of funky collision earlier, that skull you can just backflip into, because why not?
I actually learned recently a setup for the other skull that maybe we'll see Fabio getting here. No? Okay, there's another. Yes, there we are. The skull that is over here in this boulder. No, he's not going for it. There's a skull behind that boulder as well, which maybe he already got using the hammer. I actually learned a setup recently to get that without using hookshot extension, which has always been my bane.
Yeah.
So we have Cfalcon continuing to collect skulls, and there is a lot of really good skulls early on in Dodongo's Cavern, so we're going to see Fabio go over this. We're going to see the riveting content skull, except we'll be getting it in a very fast way.
Yep, so this skull, fun fact, is, you can't get this without a hookshot. This child, by dragging the Armo statue over all the way from the door on the side. It takes you like a good 30-odd seconds.
You will see that if it's 50 skulls for first hookshot.
Yeah, that kind of silliness. Or
Fabio,
if it's
Fabio, you have a hammer.
Bombs work too.
Bombs work too. You have a
hammer. Skull 28 for Cfalcon.
Oh yeah, he is in good shape here.
Yeah.
Fabio gotta find a couple more. Yeah, 22.
Okay.
Still, not bad considering he found out a decent amount later. Where is he going? To Forest.
Oh, okay. Just gonna set it here.
He's got a couple of skulls still to get here that he neglected to grab. I think the one that's behind the one that's over here, and then I think he left the one on the island earlier because there wasn't a key or major item in it.
Damn. Now I'm curious. So, Runa's letter is likely bad than Deku. It could be a string that we've got to find something of progression soon because we're out of things to do.
We really are short on stuff to do. We're almost. Yeah, we're just almost done, and yeah, the door's already open. We're doing good.
Yeah, just a minor forgot that he did that earlier, which happens, and
or maybe just not really knowing that it stays there.
Has it been years ago?
Honestly, here's the thing I'm thinking about. If you can't close that door. Exactly what Alpha Seal said. You can't close that door. I don't think I would have thought that door wouldn't have closed. I would have assumed that door would stayed open. Yeah, Fira, we found out, however, that there is, in fact, we found our progression, though. It's, the Kahiri sword. It's on 30 skulls.
Yep. Surprise! So that's what they're both doing, is just going ham on skulls, because they really don't have anything else to do.
Yeah. It worked out for Fabio that he was able to get his time of day set up like this to go do some Skull Rush. He had also a couple left in, yeah, 25.
Yeah, gonna get
pretty easy.
Cfalcon gets chickens. So yeah, they'll be pretty close here. Know that Cfalcon is a child already, so we'll see a little time on Fabio going to Deku, but that's close. Yeah, it was basically oops 30 skulls since it got the hit at, what, an hour 30? Pretty late. Yeah, I thought I was gonna be able to skip bug skulls, which is kind of nice. Those do take some time.
Yeah, bug skulls are pretty inefficient.
They're efficient for getting checks in the way, like, with them, and like Cfalcon did, but on their own, not much.
Yeah, you don't want to do them if it's, you don't have to.
Yeah, I think this should be 27 for Fabio from the adult Kokiri skull. I'm not sure. Okay, so
Canonical 30th. So there's Adult Cac, there's the grotto outside of Adult Cac. Actually, you know what you do here. You go, you can go into... Okay, I guess you go child, and you grab your last 3 as a child.
That works too. Get the Pohut skull, get... I don't know if Fabio got the adult the castle tree skull.
I think he may have, I'm not sure.
Anyhow, Cfalcon getting his disappointment off Child Andrew.
And now I'm gonna save quit and head on back.
Yep. There's Prelude for Fabio, resetting time of day to night. Fabio might actually just get the Graveyard Night skull for the convenience, honestly.
Yeah.
Or Soil
3 more skulls. Why are there no strength stamp Milkweed?
Because it's oops 30 skulls for the Kokiri sword, which apparently locks all of them. Is the answer.
Okay, question for the ages. Our runner skipped arm day.
Seemingly.
I bet the other 30 Skull Kokiri sword is just hint is
Trolley
behind
here.
Deku Tree, because that's you can actually walk back there as an adult. It's logical.
Yeah, nothing stopping you from doing exactly that. There's the other 50 hidden sets. So yeah, speaking of logic for hints, the logic is nice and guarantees that for always hit 30 through 50 skulls that you will have 1 copy available before the item that it locks.
I'm not sure if Fabio's been to Nightcack for all of his wanderings. Has he?
Yeah, I think he has, I might be wrong. Oh no, this is the first time it's not bidding, so maybe not. Big Chest is the first thing in Deku is our... Why is that a long shot game?
Long shot path to Baronade. Ooh, it looks like Fabio's not, in fact, on Cac Night Skulls.
Alright, so this will be a really fast 30 then. Faster than I thought.
Yeah,
nice.
Beautiful.
Rudos and Child Spirit, Shoot the Sun is now a thing just on its own right there. Nothing else required for it now. Concerned. First strength could be in Child's. Nothing like that doesn't get another big chest here. Giving us
a boomerang.
Boomerang.
That's
okay,
more path to Baronade looking.
Unfortunately, we can't do anything with that boomerang. Is a bit of a problem. They've already gotten 30 skulls and they don't have
30 skulls? Wait. Yeah, despite the good lead that Cfalcon had getting out to Colossus, Fabio's really closed that gap.
Yeah, just because Cfalcon did a bunch of child checks that Fabio had already done.
It also looks like Fabio is going to take advantage of this to go grab lens minigames, so
may as well, honestly.
Time for guesses in chat, everybody.
As that's another big chest on the left side there, and I'm not sure about the main one. 1 big chest in here, okay. But yeah,
there's a strength,
and there's our strength. Alright, so that's strength 1. Forest Temple's gonna be next, I guess, and then, we'll see what's in Forest. You still continue in here. There's a couple quick checks left. You might as well do it. You don't know if AD's required anyway.
frankly, I think you lose a lot more time to saying, oh, I could just go finish Forest and have to come back if Requiem is required. I think one of the things I've noticed really strong runners doing is just saying, you know what, I'm just going to commit to it. Oh, I did a couple extra checks in a stone dungeon. I lose a lot less time to that on average than I do on not pushing AD when it's required.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing here.
Yep. Nothing at all on Lens games. That's a save quit. 2, Deku Tree 4, Favio. Gonna be in there as just after Cfalcon leaves, essentially. Or about when he yeah, basically. Yeah, we should finally see some more progression dungeons after this.
After all of this progression.
After a good, what, half hour and change of no progression?
Yeah.
It's been a minute since we beat our last couple dungeons. Oh, that's a point Fabio's at. Top Fabio's at. Fabio's saved time is because he didn't leave it for Roars and Spirit, which
yeah, he
might
left
be
it
an
back
issue.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he left it back in Forest, which means he will be able to finish Forest faster. So I think they'll probably
But on the other hand, getting back to Deck Spirit might be a problem.
Honestly, at this rate, you may just play a logical AD. Oh, hi, Light Arrows. It's a nice thing to have.
Okay, well, sure.
Yeah,
I
you
guess
definitely do not want to dip from Deku.
Yeah, you just slightly need those, just a bit.
Yeah, this Deku has been
extremely required for everything, apparently.
The hook shot is the long shot's the least required thing there.
Mm-hmm. You know what would be funny?
Okay. What would be funny?
Irons on Shoot the Sun.
That's always a spot for them.
Yep. So, fun fact, you do not, in fact, need to go beat Water Temple to go get Shoot the Sun. There are, in fact, a few different ways to that platform. One is to beat Morpha specifically to fill the lake. It is tied to beating Morpha, not to beating Water Temple. Important distinction in boss shuffle to note. You can either fill up the lake by beating Morpha, or you can go just use a Scarecrow and Longshot to get there. So you can, in fact, have Iron Boots on Shoot the Sun.
You can, but
you can also
as
actually
points out, we don't have Sun songs. That's really not appealing.
Oh yeah, no, it would suck, but it's an option. Yeah, funny for a given initiative, the words. More funny for us, not so much for the runners, to be clear. Vanilla Strength 2 is not possible, Real Rob, as we know that there is because we know Reclus's right hand is dead from a hint.
It is theoretically possible that there is a Strength 2, I don't know, early on in Child Spirit. However, aside from the first 2 checks in Child Spirit, it's a little on the difficult side for another strength upgrade to be in Spirit, just on key logic grounds. It's possible, but it's just difficult for Strength 2 to be in Spirit.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah. Yeah, there is, well, let me see. Train of thought lost again. Never mind. But here, back and forth for Cfalcon as Fabio heads in. Does the 3-2-3-1 scrubs?
Yeah, the
3-2-1 in MQ.
Calling out that keyboard V1 SIP setup, I think that is definitely worth recognizing. That it's a very different thing you'll see a lot of people use, and it's one that works very well on keyboard.
Yep. Because Shadow Star keyboard runners, Fabio, one of the best in the randomizer community, currently up there with FMC Alfalfa, who I've seen in chat, and some others.
Yeah. Again, I've been tempted into trying to learn because of repetitive stress injuries, but it's very difficult and definitely requires some adjustments to deal with the fact that you are playing on a keyboard.
Yep. I'm just laughing at the typo
I see it.
in chat. whoever funds Blaze's accidents.
Yep.
Not sure how you type in funds instead of wins. That's a good.
Yeah, that's a rather different part of the keyboard, but that's okay. Yeah, Xbox is a incredible runner, and I think, again, but that's like, it's very difficult to say, oh, Xbox is an incredible runner, oh, all these people are. I'm not lying. All these people are incredible runners. It's like, it's great watching these people play. I think you are guaranteed to be seeing something worth watching if you watch any of these matches.
For sure. As Fabio is not going to go to Apple yet, remember, perhaps Chalkgorn City here, I think?
Yeah, we're going to be doing Chalkgorn City and taking care of the, because he didn't do all of the Sarias checks and etc., while he was going through, while he was going through to get skulls, so he just wants to grab that while he's on this trial swing, which I think is reasonable, considering he's done such a full cleary early game. He wants to make absolutely sure he's not leaving something.
Fabio does not need many to access Forest Temple. Nobody in the top 64 needs it. I don't think anyone at the CC really needs it either. Mitoscope exists, and they have Sarius on side, so it really does not matter diddly squat.
Any moderately ambitious racer knows Mitoscope.
It's one of the things you just learn really early, is the racer tip, because it's just so useful.
It's very useful and also very fun, because you can jump over his stupid head.
Yeah. So yes, speaking of future opponents, if you want to go take a look at the bracket, you may find it at that link. The winner of this will in fact go on to face Exodus in round 3, also a formidable, as with everyone else, Exodus is a very formidable player. A talented vanilla speedrunner who started playing Randomizer in the last few years and has gotten to be very, very good at it. His 3rd season this season, and won the Speed Gaming Live Online tournament last year as well. Taking that
incredible player.
What happened for that spot. Incredible player.
Yes.
So
Fabio does have Aurora set in Forest, and he has finished about half of Forest, so he is, the moment he goes adult, so the point where Cfalcon is right now, Cfalcon is about 2 checks ahead of where Fabio is in Forest. So I would say that Cfalcon has 3-4 minutes.
Yeah. And the loser of this faces, the loser of this does not get an easy matchup either. The matchup of the co-op partners, the winner of that one gets is who the loser of this match gets clunked with, either Mr. Mario or Mr. Martin. Oof.
Ooh. Yeah, those are both vicious runners.
Consistent main tournament runners for multiple seasons running, both Mr. Mario and Mr. Martin, to the 2 halves of co-op tournament team M&M. Formidable players in their own right, and well, as with anyone else really in this tournament, you do not want to get stuck with them in there in this round 2.
Oh yeah. Alright, yeah, it has been 2 hours, amazingly. And finally we've got a little more traction now that we've got that Kakiri sword and we got Deck Tree out of the way. Again, shoutouts to our runners here. We got Cfalcon, we got Fabio. They've been doing awesome. Go follow them. They're doing great. We have Baseball, this is in Baseball, and Vela on the tracker. Thank you so much for keeping track of everything, keeping track of the skulls in particular. Skull seeds are always a little more work on the tracker side. And shoutouts to Star for commentating with me. I'm Jackstronomy. We're having a great time. I'm glad I was able to come today.
Yeah. And yep, M&M, Mario and Martin are also 2/3 of multi-world team snack pack with Cola, also somewhere in the tournament. I'm not sure where exactly offhand, so more affordable to runners, speaking of. As we get, why are those iron boots on the Forest Temple bow chest? Game?
Here, I got it, I gotcha. There we go. Got the emote for you.
Yeah, the water.
Yeah,
there's
I think
real chance
honestly,
Strength 2's in Child Spirit the rate we're going.
Honestly, if you get out of Forest and you don't have any more direction, just go Water. Water has 4 checks. Water has 4 checks. You get to shoot the sun check really quick. I want Wreck. I don't, particularly in Fabio's boots, you don't want to cross again. Would you rather go cross again and then maybe get locked out, or would you rather get 4 checks and not get locked out?
It's full of the key. It's a 3 in 5 chance it's an item, I believe, from our counting, so. Does anyone know the Oops All Dungeons pick queued up? We may need it soon. I believe Baseball should have access to it from our Restream dashboard if we do have a thing up for that.
Is it really Oops All Dungeons when it's rock, though?
I mean,
it's Oops Not All Dungeons when you can skip rock.
I mean, it's looking a bit like Oops AD for a Strength 2 and Child Spirit at the rate we're going right now. I mean, what do we have right now?
It's not Oops AD. It's Oops AD is when it's when it shouldn't be required, but it is. It's Wreck. It should be required, but sometimes it isn't.
I mean, that's debatable, but sometimes, yeah. I mean, what do we have after this? We still can't do Jabu. No sign of Riddle's Letter unless it turns up in the last couple checks here. We can't do Jabu. We can't do Ice. We can't do Storms because we can't do Well because Storms is either Prelude behind Spirit or Ice Cavern, which we can't do. So nope, not Storms. Can't do Ice. Can't. We could go Water. We can go back into Fire Temple. That's about it for items, really.
Yep. Yeah, I still think I'm really feeling I feel Water in this case. I would call Water.
I think so as well. It's a stronger
you waste
play
so
than
much time.
Fire.
You waste so much time hesitating on the AD, and you gain, the time. Net? That's like 5 minutes net if you consider having to cross Wasteland again. So for Cfalcon with the Cfalcon having the first win, maybe it's a bit of a harder decision, but for Favio, that's like the fastest possible water temple ever because it's a water temple that also saves you 4 minutes of walking across Wasteland.
Oh, for sure, because that takes a while no matter what you do.
Also, I'm pro water, which is weirdly enough, I'm known for, Iron Booster DLC, but I'm also really pro water as a location because you can actually narrow down where you should be looking for items pretty quickly.
Yep.
Again, I don't understand why people are like, oh, well, Season 6 is bad, and no, this is as bad as Ocarina of Time has always been.
I mean, it's Randomizer. Randomizer will do some interesting things.
Here's the philosophy. It's if it is allowed, it can happen.
It has or will happen.
That which is not forbidden is permitted.
Yep.
You don't have to like it.
No. You can, in fact, have things like Bolero being my hero because it locks every single bomb mag strength upgrade bow and hammer. Or oops, 50 skulls for your one and only bow, which I have also seen before.
I like that one a while back this season that has that had this ridiculous chain of stuff for because your first bomb bag was buried somewhere really weird, deep in Water Temple.
We had that just earlier. This bracket was a hammer and water for your first bomb bag, and I think Fire Temple or something equally stupid. We got a Water Temple path to King Falcon. We're just scratching our heads over. Wait, what?
Yeah, I think that was what I was thinking about. Oh, there was also one. This might have been on the TSG in the Challenge Cup, where there was a 40 skulls strength upgrade, and people were debating forever about whether something was in Logic or not. I'm like, nope, it's in Logic. We've had 40 in Logic for a long time. It's in Logic. We just don't want it to be true.
Yeah. One thing to note too is one of the things that always feels bad on commentary is when I start listing checks off as if I was what's left in the game, / just reading the regions list off my notes sheet, just looking at okay, what's left in each region because we're so little on checks. It always feels bad when I start listing off individual checks. And it always feels bad when I get out a map tracker to go check the number of skulls in Logic, because most of those things are just we're really low on stuff mode.
Yeah, honestly, as a runner, I mostly, this is a funny anecdote here, as a runner, I mostly do this on feel, I probably got about 30 in Logic now, I probably have about 40, probably about 50. And I was talking about this with a runner Purple Rupees, who's also in Challenge Cup, and he's like, I hate doing things on feel. Whenever I try to do things on feel, it tells me to go into Stone Forest. Shout-out, that made me laugh really hard.
That is really funny.
So we, but again, like you kind of figure like, oh, I have a good amount of access. I have a good amount of access to the world. I have I have a hook shot. I have a bottle. I have bombs. I can probably do 40. I can probably do 50.
Or like, I've got, X amount of dungeons available. You get a feel for it after a while of roughly how many skills are available. Nice slingshot off Phantom Cannon.
Yeah.
Thanks, game. Really necessary.
Fabio's made up some good time in Forest here. I expect him to be about 3 minutes behind.
But he's not really, no. He's
he's
thriving on Purple Poe.
Purple Poe, and yeah, this is really quite good.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget one of the early matches I saw in Randomizer would be this infamous clip. Let me go get it out of my funny clips folder, which I have a lot of things in at this point.
Good.
This so lovely clip from what remains a really terrible feed. So this is an old clip. This is from Scrubs Season 1, Group B Grand Finals Game 1. I think this was between Godzilla and Chimo. I believe Godzilla won this seed in like 4 hours and 23 minutes or something equally ridiculous. So Scrub Season 1, not that different from what current Season 6 settings, really. 40 and 50 skulls are off, 1500 HPs are off. Some of the loose ends, but this really shouldn't have taken them 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I don't know about that randomizer. I don't think so. I don't think the world is ready for it.
Axel, I remember this one all too well. This was my first time ever tracking, so this was, I think, April 2020, because I joined their community in, like, late March. Discord and all that. Yeah, it was your first shot was on OGC. It was, oops, very tight 30 skulls for your hover boots. Note that 40 and 50 were off, so 30 skulls is kind of blair for Scrubs. Oops, very much a 30 skulls without hookshot or boomerang, I think even. It was really bad. 30 skulls for your hover boots to get ZL from your creator to go get, 30 skulls for hookshot to get ZL from the creator to get your first hookshot from that Way of the Hero OGC to go do things in the game. And then it was oops AD for longshot on the Sunsong Grave. Yep, BXR. There was also some other silly things. I think it was Din's Fire hinted in the Wasteland, like Mirror Shield hinted on Pierre. I think there was like a claim check on Frogs too for the extra giggles.
Yeah. Okay, so bring us back to this race.
It
like,
was,
we actually do have Falcon and Water.
So evil, it was comical.
Yeah, we do have Falcon and Water, and I think this comes back to what I was saying that, like, you're gonna commit to this because, well, after seeing this long, you're gonna just do Requiem. You're just gonna do it. It's gonna save you time. You also saw him abandon his Roar's Wind and Spirit, so he is committing.
Mm-hmm. And no, that scrub seed was not a plant build. No, in fact, that Godzilla has since moved on to become a top 64 level runner. I can't remember if he's in it this season. I know he was in it last season. Of course, he's improved in the last few years, but it really does say something that he took 4.5 hours to beat that miserable mess.
Yeah. It's very rare to see an S6 seed go to 4 hours. I've found one. But
the Challenge Cups has actually had quite a few, which is Rendobot's really been mean lately. Quite a few races go past 3.5 hours.
Oh, and 3.5 is not 4.
Some have gotten close to 4. I don't know if any have gone over 4 hours, but several have gotten close to 4 hours.
There was a seed that Tobias made me play, that the fastest time anyone posted on it was a 3:58.
Oof.
Yes, ISG is in fact banned. This is a quasi-glitchless setting.
Glitchless with a few caveats.
ISG stands for Infinite Sword Glitch. It's something you will see a lot in speedruns. That is used to kill things extremely fast. I've gotten it accidentally several times in the G2G fight with the Greedo Guard, because you can get it by getting a text box as you shield.
Yeah, which is fine as long as you dispel it pretty much immediately. It's a fairly moot point.
Yeah. I do believe it's used in other rule sets in Rando. It's just not used in this rule set. This is under the standard rule set, which is... It is mostly glitchless, is probably the best way to say it.
With a few caveats. Yeah, there's a few glitchless strats that are banned from the vanilla speedruns rule sets, and we do allow 2 glitches, specifically flame storage because people voted for it. No, really, that's the only reason flame storage is allowed. They had to vote in the days of like season 2 or something, and it's like between season 2 and season 3, I think it might have been. It was before my time, where people voted to allow flame storage, and then ground jumps are allowed because they, by and large, bypass a wide variety of really silly glitchless jumps you would do otherwise.
Yeah.
The one singular clip in the Shadow Crusher we were discussing ages ago.
Yes, that
also
one singular
because
clip in the
there's
Shadow
a
Crusher
really
room,
stupid glitchless jump you can do. That really sucks.
Yes. Also, there have been like various levels of things that were allowed and not allowed, such as there is a variant on standard that's being used for this tournament where we are not allowed to do King's Aura skip. And previously, Fire Hour entry was allowed of Shadow Temple, and it is not, thankfully, for my PT bills.
Yep. Among other things, it is glitchless with caveats. You may in fact go find said rule sets. Hesses are banned. All forms of super slides are in fact banned. So are all types of hovers, any type of damage boosts. Seam walks are also banned, though those are technically glitchless. In other words, please go rule the rule set because we can only read so much off.
Yeah. Yes, and exactly, there is a glitch rule set called Dungeon Door Requirements, DDR, that has different requirements, and it allows things like Icearrow's Velagia, totally allowed.
It's perfectly glitchless, and it doesn't actually do much of anything besides be funny, and I guess they're kind of useful, but it's not really a thing that
Bongo is encouraged.
Banning. Yeah.
No.
But yes, actually, in general, it is easier to add list what's not banned than what is banned. The nuances of specific strats get a little more detailed, but basically, it's glitchless with the following glitches allowed is the easiest way to describe standard, and then you can go get into the nuances by reading said rule set.
Yeah, around the time when I showed up, it was a reasonably... It just changed its name from accessible, and that kind of captures the original ethos of the development was give it some good things that you can do to, just enough glitches to, make it interesting, but not to make it too difficult to, for people to get into and, enjoy logically. Like, this is like the logic and the actual game you're approaching is going to be done, assuming you'll be doing things in the standard way. And also give you a level playing field. Also, can you arbitrary code a seed within a seed? I don't know, Starks, can you?
I, for one, am not very familiar with the glitches. I can identify the major ones at sight, and that's about it. Not really much of a glitch player myself. I prefer to stick with glitchless things.
Yeah, I'm personally a glitchless player, but I love watching glitched. Watching glitched is a entirely different level of just brain happiness for me. I very much love watching. I love playing glitchless, but I am astounded by what people can pull off with glitches.
Oh yeah, OT is a very, very broken video game.
Mm-hmm. But yes, can you? Can you ace a seed? I don't know, can you? It's not race legal, but I don't know. My answer is I don't know. Can you?
But yes, as we have referenced quite a lot at various points throughout the restream, we have a very active community with a lot going on. We are currently in full swing of our main tournament season, but we also currently have going on, as of just earlier today actually, with the announcement the Random Settings League has just hit brackets. This is a, tournament where the settings get randomized. There is a script that, with certain weights, that randomizes settings like entrance rando, key sanity, song sanity, scrub sanity, shop sanity, and various assorted other things.
And the best part about this, the runners don't get told what these settings are.
You get to deduce them, which is its own variety of fun for the... So you can get some interesting stuff, and so you'll be seeing random settings like bracket matches pop up over out here on the CSR channels as we hit the brackets, so those should be fun. Got some excellent matchups there. Got some very, very good runners in RSL brackets this year, as always. So really looking forward to the last handful of matches. So that's going to be the random settings tournament. We also have both the multi-world and co-op tournaments, which I referenced briefly earlier. Then there is also things like the League. We have Triforce Splits. We had the Mixed Pools tournament last year. We've got Speed Gaming Live. And anything besides. If you want to even just host a casual pickup race of whatever settings you want, you can always post in the Discord and see if people want to play it with you. I can't guarantee they'll want to play whatever you thought up, but you can always ask.
Yeah, honestly, like, the only thing keeping me from playing RSL is the fact that I have trouble finding enough time to play anything that isn't Blitz.
Yeah, for sure. Random settings can go a bit long.
The problem with random settings, random length.
Yep. But yes, random here between I believe the first record is 4 minutes.
Sorry, your mic's doing the thing again.
Oh, great.
The couple isn't a thing yet. Oh dear, that's not very loaded yet. Water somehow being bait. Honestly, I don't think that water somehow being bait. I honestly don't think that that's going to, particularly for Favio, water is not bait by definition. Water is at least water is a pretty significant time save as far as crossing Wasteland, and if you need to climb, Spirit from Childside, you're gonna need that.
Yeah, I mean, this water temple's been a bust as we get a heart piece off Morpha, so Deep Fire and Child Spirit seem to be the next place because we still don't have anything to do.
Yeah, well, you have Child Spirit now.
There is Child Spirit, and to note that even like Ace, SRM, item manips, and wrong warps, those are typically banned even under the glitchiest of OoTR rules, such known as No I Am Wrong Warp, because it slightly feels a little odd to randomize items. You can just skip it entirely by way of wrong warps and item manips.
Yes, it is. But again, if you're playing solo, you can do whatever you want. I can't stop you.
Nope. But for races, yeah, we do try to keep that in mind. How much it cares, of course, does depend a bit on the race. You can, of course, casually agree, hey, for this one race, let's our SRM or whatever, but, please don't do so in a weekly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you won't get more seriously sanctioned, but it's just a nice thing, too.
No. So yeah, again, I can't stop you from doing what you want to do with your own game on your own time. But yeah, with water being pretty dense, like, no, water is not very dense because, well, water in itself is actually not that dense. It's only one kilogram per liter, right? But water is also gives you access to Spirit Temple as Child. And again, I'm pretty happy to just accept the fact that, like, okay, the game would like for me to be here. In particular, since Fabio never had Ferora's Wind over in Spirit Temple, it's extra incentivized for him to do that. He lost very little time doing that. Yeah. Like, if it's not required, lost, quote unquote. I'm gonna put big old loss because Cfalcon also did that. Lost very little time.
Oh yeah, note too that Favio getting the boss gear relatively rushed the Darklink loop and is presumably just gonna rush Requiem, which will save him a little time in Water Temple. Like, I don't think he did all the basement stuff.
Darklink loop,
so maybe it'll just be me slightly spazzing out due to our continued discussion about not Water Temple since there was nothing in it.
Yeah. What's in water? Also, I need to get this strat down because that looks lovely. The rando only quick kill from Morpha.
Yep.
We're getting way into the definition of water here. I'm not into this. What we're already to is Spirit Temple.
Yes, we are. We are in Spirit Temple as Child. Let's start counting keys because, as previously discussed, key logic, as with logic in general, really, it doesn't come up really in standard in Season 6 seeds, but in random settings, this can actually make a bit of a difference, where you are logically required to have an infinite source of sticks, nuts, slingshot seeds, fairies under certain settings, all that stuff for. Because
now keys.
Blue fire is a big one for this because
Ooh.
logic has to assume that you use your items, especially keys, in the worst way possible, and this includes keys, which gets really complicated for Spirit. That chest is junk, because you can access it as both ages with different items, and it gets complicated.
And again, the statement I made earlier about GTG would assume you make a better idiot. That applies to Spirit doubly, because you can run up and down it as an adult and a child. We got a key here, so this is allowed to be this is a logically required Requiem. Maybe not hard required, but definitely logically required.
Yep. So yeah, items that can be considered for Spirit Temple include in these settings minimum 2 strength upgrades, mirror shield, hookshot, long shot, slingshot, boomerang, bows, bombs, fire arrows, dense fire, bows to varying degrees depending on your seed.
Of course, magic. To use those things.
Magic, yep. Mirror shield, of course, and yeah, the
most of the game.
Pretty much. Small chest and a small chest on Child Fine. Okay. There is, in other settings, you can get things like Song of Time being required for this place. It sure leads me to one of my other all-time favorite clips. Co-op Season 1, Oops All Dungeons for this boss key on the Song of Time.
The Song of Time. The Song of Time skull. Yes, the one skull behind Song of Time there.
Yep, this is one of my all-time favorite clips. And this place is in fact fire locked because key logic assumes you use the worst keys your keys in the worst way possible. It assumes that you use your keys on all 4 of your keys on adult side and on the adult climb, on the child climb to get to the right hand before you use the one that lets child climb up here. So that if there is even a single key behind the map chest or some block chests, both are logically behind a usable fire source. And a few other things.
Save before climbing up, before using his first key in Spirit?
I don't remember if he did.
Well, Major Cat Lady, welcome in. Welcome to Randomizer. It's a weird place. We are... So, if you have any questions, please join in. Ask us anything. We have I'm knowledgeable. Star's knowledgeable. Chat's sometimes knowledgeable, sometimes just making puns. You might be able to tell which.
If you do have most genuine questions, someone will give you an actual answer in there, yeah. And Cfalcon safe scumming is key usage, and it's gonna get out of here.
Yeah, so logically,
yeah, Child
hard
Spirit
required.
Logically required because... Yeah, we only found 2 keys, and we are logically required to find at least 1 more to climb as adults, so there must be 1 key on Child side. Tofile is correct. The particulars of how we can deduce that is to go take a look at Spirit Key logic in more depth.
Oh yeah, how are they doing the crouchy attack? So this is something called power crouch stabbing. When was that patched out? Star, do you know that off the top of your head?
I am actually not sure offhand.
Okay, so in the original version of Ocarina of Time, which in the version that we're using, there is a glitch where they didn't actually code a damage value for crouching and stabbing. So they did not code a damage value for crouching and stabbing, which means that they Thank you, Futon is patched in English Majora's Mask, never patched in Ocarina of Time. It does not exist in Ocarina of Time 3D, so if you played in Ocarina of Time 3D, that does not exist. But since they never coded a damage value for the crouch stab, it takes the value of the previous attack. So if you do a jump slash and then do a crouch stab, you are using the damage value of the crouch stab, which is twice the value of a normal slash, in that crouch stab. Also, the crouch stab has a really consistent hitbox, so that's helpful as well. Also, yeah, it is Passion 3DS version. I've tried. There's also some weird stuff like that power crouch stab can also take on the qualities of the attack you took. So you can hit something with a hammer, and then you can crouch stab with your sword and break things.
Yep, I see this sometimes in the Goron City Maze, for instance. It's a little silly.
Yeah, crouch stab is not a word. Power crouch stab is not a word. It's true.
Alright, so Cfalcon now doing some more overall checks we saw earlier from Favio during his very long Child 1 segment, so they're going to be pretty even, I think, going adult, essentially.
Absolutely. Yep, and exactly Incoherence telling you hold shield and press B while not targeting, so just keep your hand off the Z target, hold your R button, hold your shield button, and press B.
Yep, so that is how you mechanically...
If it doesn't work, you may have some mismapping on your controller if you're using emulator.
Yep. Yeah, back to the seed. What's left? We've got Fire Temple. We have King Zora.
Fire Temple, King Zora.
I'm actually starting to have a little trouble thinking of anything else.
Fire Temple, King Zora, honestly, I think is where we're getting down to. I think Fire is a good idea.
It's the densest play they have. It beats Freezing
have they done Hyrule Castle Fairy?
I don't actually remember. Good question.
This looks like they may not have. Yes. Also, the computer says this is why stealth was the worst enemy. I'm going to propose instead Dunalphos. Stalfos you can actually find the pattern with the crowd stab. Dunalphos do not like being crowd stabbed.
Yeah, VG Van, we A, don't have Sunsong, and B, it's hinted at, so no for Sunsong Grave. Yeah, looking at our... I'm just gonna go down the regions list. I was talking earlier about how it always feels better when we get to the point of staring at the list of regions. Alphabetical order. We've seen everything in DMC, we've seen everything in DC, Deku, and Colossus. We haven't seen Fall of Fire, we've seen Forest, Fortress, Canex's Cannons, we've seen Goron City, we've seen Graveyard, we've done everything we can in GTG. Oh no, the toilet exists, we have Fire and Boots now.
The toilet exists.
We have the toilet, we have, let's see, our Castle Fairy is being checked, we've seen everything in Hyrule Field, we can't get to Ice Cavern, we've seen Jabu, we can't get into Jabu, nice bow game.
That's something.
Totally not required, but I guess nice to have, but that's about it. Yeah, back to the regions list. We can't get to Jabu. We've seen everything in CAG. We've seen everything in Kokiri, Lake, Ranch. We have seen everything in Lost Woods, so we've seen everything in Market. Have we? Yeah. Have we seen Big Pose? I think we have.
We have. The first bow was on Dampere, so quite early. Big Pose has been seen. They both did it because they saw a nice early bottle. They saw a bottle that looked kind of important in Shadow, and no, it wasn't. And yeah, this is exactly as Tafao points out. Favio's thorough early child has now come back around.
It has, as he is now ahead playing Blair to go to Fire Temple for the density because we've got that King Zora and we've got that King Zora and the thing I just forgot we said, the toilet left now.
The toilet and Fire Temple and High Fire, and you know what? Getting that strength upgrade means this is very logically allowed now. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is toilet refers to the room in train grounds, as Axel said. Yes, also we should get more guesses in chat, thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. I'm at already. Lab Dev is not allowed about gold scale, also it hasn't hinted dead,
so it's a moot point.
But yes, the toilet check is called that because it is a deep hole full of swirling water in your training grounds, and it's full of shit. It's full of enemies that try and kill you. Also, the check is really kind of a pain in the ass to do. So
and especially back when the nickname was given before D-pad boots existed, where it really sucked to have to go menu every time. Everyone's out. Nice, low. Back to the regions list, let's see, we can't do OGC, we've seen SFM, Shadow, we can't do anything in Spirit, we've seen Temple, well, we can't do anything in Temple of Time. seen DMT, we've seen Valley, we did see the Wasteland Chest, we've seen Waters, we can't do the Well. We've seen Domain, we can't do Fountain, and we've seen River, except for KD,
has anyone peeked the Tic Tac Grotto?
We have seen that from somebody on the way to GTG. Awesome. It was a bloopy, if memory serves. So yes, we are down to the toilet, and that's assuming it's not a key, which is a 2 in 5 chance, which is a 3 in 5 chance it's not a key per our count. It's down to the toilet, Deep Fire, and King Zora. Yay us!
Paradox Letter is a very real possibility, and I don't like it. Paradox Letter, which is one of the favorite meme checks, is if you get Ruto's letter off of unfreezing King Zora. This is a paradox because you're supposed to give that to him to make him move over. So instead you have to go into the future, get it from him, and then go back into the past to move him over.
Yep.
You know where second wallet is? It's on Skull Mask. There is a big chest of fire right there.
Yep. Yeah, we know where the second wallet is. They just don't want to go do it because it's a real hassle and it's not fun. There's the second over Cfalcon. They can go get the wallet, they will just probably even the toilet before getting said wallet because it's a really slow check.
Yeah, this is probably going to feel scary for these runners because that ground jump, going back to the rule set discussion that Favio just used, was available to these runners as soon as they defeated fire. So they could have gotten to this, whatever that check is, if any of these checks are relevant here in fire, much earlier than they are, and there may be some lingering doubts of, oh, I'm sure my opponent did this. I'm sure my opponent didn't last location this. Because that is what your brain tells you every time you find something in a weird location.
Yep.
Well, nobody got into fire, but there's 3 great skulls there.
For sure. Like, one thing we talk about
consider double dipping that.
For sure. Like, one thing we talk about on qualifier restreams is that somebody probably did this random, not immediately intuitive routing thing because there's, 100 people in this race and somebody probably did the not obvious thing.
Yes, you are allowed to clip camera to peek through walls to peek the peek checks.
Yep. That is a perk of Chess Ice Matches contents, which has been part of the main tournament since Season 5, I believe, is the first time we added that.
It was introduced in Season 5, and it's hence won over just about everybody who was doubting it originally.
Because it's quite nice to be able to just see a thing and know, do I need to open that or not?
And it does actually open up some cool new strategies. Like, there are some things where you can actually do some, extra tricks around it, or revolving around chest sizes.
Yeah.
So it adds an extra level of reaction to the game, which is fun. Yeah, so the early thorough child has actually, bought Favio a teeny bit of time. Like, he bought him enough time to get to this check as Cfalcon is seeing it.
Yeah, with just a couple of minutes here to get all the way around, and we get Ruto's letter. What a spot! And it's perfect timing, too, that you have the shortcut open to come back later, so he's out of here. Good riddance.
Same.
And gonna set for Rose, makes sense, and he is leaving immediately. Absolutely no reason not to. Go beat Jabu, see what's there. If it's not there, go Ice Cavern, hope Footstorms, and get out of fire, because this fire does have quite a few checks, it's also kind of slow.
Yeah, this is a panic moment for both of our runners when they see that.
Because they could have gotten this a long time ago.
Again, I may have mentioned when we were in our skull gathering that going back into fire to grab 3 skulls and do checks was an option.
Yep,
that might be something that comes to the brain.
Thinking about as we hit the 2.5 hour mark here, as we pass the 2.5 hour mark here, you have to be wondering, because these runners know, as do we, that generally our top 64 runners can sub 3 most seeds.
A seed
Not
that goes
all.
smoothly.
This is looking like it'll probably be a bit over 3 hours, depending on where exactly Strength 2's gone off to.
Yeah.
But they
A
know that
seed that goes
generally
smoothly in
their
these
opponent
settings.
can sub-3 most seeds, and
Oh, yeah.
as you get to that mark, as you get towards the 3-hour mark, having done some unnecessary checks, maybe you made a few minor routing things you might be regretting a little bit. You might be starting to wonder, where is my opponent? He might be done at any time because I could have gotten this Rose letter forever ago.
Yes. Precisely. And again, if a seed goes smoothly in these settings, it is extremely reasonable for it to come around the 230 mark. Even if it's a logically D seed, and frankly, probably if you had gotten that Runo's letter much earlier, I think it would have been even reasonable for it, even if you had gone and done water. I think it still would have been reasonable.
I mean, I think it depends in part where that other 30 hit is. Like, if it was in Back Lake and somebody had gone and done those for whatever reason, time of day or what have you, then that would have played a different role in this C2 right there.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's all those what ifs. Like, what if I did this? What if my opponent did that?
Oh, Major Cat, like, welcome in. Welcome to spending your entire time saying you can do that. You're in for a treat. I hope you enjoy hanging out watching Ocarina of Time Randomizer, because even without using heavy glitching, you can do a lot of really cool stuff in Ocarina of Time.
Oh, for sure. We have a race here on our hands. Cfalcon did not set for Rosewind and Fire. Note that.
That's interesting,
Hoping
because
it's not going to matter, but
I don't
who
think
knows?
he had anywhere else, did he?
I think he did. I'm not sure if there's anywhere else he would rather to keep it.
Yeah. I mean, one of her two inside is Big Octo, because you've spent actual minutes on that many bosses as a kid, and you'll be seeing very shortly how many minutes they spend on Big Octo very shortly.
Yeah, because the strat on this is really cool. He last used it in water, I think. Okay, serious business. Yeah, water for Royce wouldn't really matter much.
He's already cleared it because he used to, after he grabbed the boss key, to jump back up to the boss door.
Yeah.
Yeah, these birds have been on their tails.
Yeah, this has been a relatively linear seed. You had to go get this item to go to that place to get progression. Like, you had to go get that bomb back from Child Lake. You had to go.
Looks like our
do
go mode
DC.
right now is just strength 2, and that could be here. That was behind the strength upgrade. This is behind the strength upgrade that we found in Decatree.
It is.
Oh, it's behind the strength upgrade we found in Decatree.
It's not a strength upgrade we found in Decatree. We found that strength upgrade in. Oh, no, it was in Deca, yeah.
Yeah, it was in Deca.
And we needed that to climb fire, so yes.
Do we have yet another one of those complicated, nasty, we had another one of those complicated, nasty, things with the, oh man, complicated, nasty, pass where we have Deku, which is, needed for strength, which is also needed for Boomerang, but the strength is needed to get our Runo's letter.
If it's not in Jabu, then it is either back to Fire Temple, off to the toilet in GTG, King Zora, or Ice Cavern.
You go Ice Cavern. It's so much stuff at this rate.
You absolutely do. And there's a 50-50 chance that, is it 50? Yeah, it's 50-50 chance it storms as well, which opens up even more checks. And actually, yeah, bet for Strength 2 would be a good idea here.
Sure, let's get a bet for Strength 2 in. I have a thought.
So do I. I will not say what it is until we get the bet going. Mine is highest Goron, because why not?
Mine's Icy Waters, because we have these, because I want those Iron Boots to come back around.
Oh, they could. Breath of the Wild's Breath of the Wild. Bottom of the Wild.
It's in Breath of the Wild.
Rain.
Yep, it's in Breath of the Wild.
Thief Sound Big Chest, yeah. There's still the Cyrus Paths in play, but it's probably just a Spirit Key Lock by CL. Yeah, correct. Yeah, Strength 1 is not Saria's locked. Strength 2 might be. I mean, it's a relative moot point in any case.
Strength 1 was not Saria's locked. Yeah.
So yeah, there's got to be a Zillock key left in Spirit, which isn't really a surprise, given that we only found 2 keys in there earlier, so not surprised. Well, basement, but we know it cannot be the lab. We've seen lab roof and lab dive was hinted dead.
Fury Sword was on 30 skulls.
Which was available very early. We had a bottle.
The bottle was behind ZL.
No, GTG.
No, wait, no, there's one GTG. You're right. You're right.
That one's available. And Shadow Before the Boat is not. ZL actually, yeah, because Shadow entirely was ZL. But yeah, GTG statue is available, but even without that, both hook shots were available. Well, yeah, no, one hook shot was available, and we had enough. I think we had enough dungeon access without the bottle. Jack, so it's close. Moot point anyway.
Yeah, it's close, but either way, it's probably it can probably just be you can probably expect to see a small key in ZL, and if we don't see a small key in ZL, then we're like, okay, well, I guess it was like 29.
So, yeah, I mean it's largely pointless.
Fabio is very slightly ahead right now. Yep.
They haven't well because they can't get in it. Navi dives and Cuckoo dives are in fact both banned, as is ISG. So yeah, they haven't been there.
And considering their gameplay style, I don't think either of them would be inclined to do it, even if it was, in the rule set.
Yeah.
It seems very far out of logic right now. Or at the point when it would have been convenient, it would have been very far out of logic.
Yeah.
And neither of them even went for the check that ended up being key to them, which was in a temple they were already in, and just one step out of logic.
Yeah. Oh, I know, Futon.
Okay, also call out this big logic.
What?
You cannot do that in this rule set.
Yep.
Yes. So why splitting some chests? This rule set is under chest size matches contents. So we know that if we see a small chest here, like the way you see right here, this is going to have a junk item. It's not going to have a major item. If we see a large chest with gilded edges, it is a major item. And if we see a chest that has silver edges, that is a small key. If we see a set that has the boss key texture, it's a boss key.
Yep.
So you might open small keys early in the scene if you're looking for money or for bomb shoes or for resources. You might open a chest, you might spot open a chest if, I don't know, maybe you took a bunch of damage and you're down to half a heart and you're just like, I'm fishing for a heart piece so I can stop hearing the beeping. But you're not going to open them standard.
No, by and large. So there's also we won't see them in these settings, but there's also custom textures for both Skulltula tokens and I believe for heart containers and heart pieces as well.
Yes, and the bomb shoes are in small chests in these settings, so you do have, if you want your get out logic free cards, you have to open small chests.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably was probably 3 or so minutes ahead. Yeah, I think let's time the Baronade blue orbs for them, I think.
Sounds good. That was very slick from Fabio. We'll see if we get to do the comms, stereotype and say this is a clean Baronade, because this is really, really fun to watch.
Oh, for sure. There's some neat little strats you can do to speed this up.
Oh yeah, this is coming in, and perfect. That is the transition that will always get you in this, because you have to get that boomerang out fast enough so it hits it, but slow enough so you don't have it fall back down into the belly before you can actually act on the little jellyfish.
Beautifully done. Very nice.
Lovely kill.
And that'll be medallion number 5 here for Fabio at just over 2 hours and 46 minutes. Sub 3 is deader than dead at this point, unsurprisingly, with how this ended up going for them both. And just not.
Jabu is only good for a medallion.
Blue warp time 2:46:12 is when Fabio entered the blue warp based on the restream timer.
Yep. Also, he took a moment for that blue warp, which is actually a tiny time save you can do. If you take a moment and wait until you're fully facing Rudo, and Rudo is towards you entirely, you can save a little time, because if you don't line up completely with her, you turn to face her, which is very slow. Surprisingly slow. Yeah, there's not too much left to get, we're heading towards the bottleneck here. Whoever breaks it first is going to have a really clear path to the end.
Yeah. I mean, ice is the obvious play, but they could decide that because it's obvious play, I'm going to go do something that's not as obvious and see if I can win because of it.
Yeah. Someone says casino time, it's like, it's a really small casino. Like,
It's just such a dry, linear seed for them both, yeah.
it's like, you know, a charity, like, charity poker match or something.
Mm-hmm. What's in GTG? The toilet's left, and that's about it.
There's just so little left to do that, like, it feels very silly to call it a casino because, you know, you've done so much and there's so little left for you to do.
I mean, it's ice and fire really are the two plays, and I'd be surprised if they went fire. Despite this Bolero, this is Fabio going to Ice Cavern, most likely. It's just your fastest way out, as...
I mean, even your blue fire!
Speaking of Ice Cavern, nice blue fire bubble on Lex!
Yeah, like, I'm just imagining, like, we had at my college, we had, like, Monte Carlo, where it was, like, you would gamble with, like, fake money. And it was, like, a whole bunch of awkward, like, teenagers and 20-year-olds gambling with fake money. It's like that. That's the level of casino we're at.
Nobody did deep fire high score on. We're just let us have shortcut and they both failed immediately after that. Storms is a 50-50 between the Light Air cutscene and Ice Cavern. We don't know which. We'll find out in a few minutes, assuming Fabio doesn't find Strength 2 before that.
Yeah, what happened to the seed? We got
Oops, 30 skulls!
Yeah, we got bottleneck behind a 30 skull Kikiri sword is the answer.
Yep.
Yes, the Zora's domain through Goron City Lost Woods. Oh, really nice hover entry to Zora domain. The bells we don't know about the. I did not bet Hammer Chest. I bet Under Icy Waters.
Yep. We don't know if the well's buried. We can't get there.
Yeah, so probably was about
42 seconds.
Lead, yeah.
Yeah, a little under 3 minutes, correct?
Yeah, and Falcon is opting to save the fairy fountain for time back, so he's going to be going to ice immediately. Which I think that's a bit of a, I don't want to say it's a conservative play. It's a play that's like, I think that, if you were really just hoping to hit and go, you needed to go do that fountain down very right then. At this point, he's just planning on doing this for efficiency.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see...
in hoping that it was there, so he didn't have to come back as it's all, whereas Cfalcon's just going to round it in.
Looks like my bet is wrong. That looks like a bomb.
Yeah. It's not something he wants in any case, so...
Yep, up we go. Yeah, we just don't know until we get to the end. And I think it's completely reasonable to go straight for Ice Cavern here. Ice Cavern's extremely deep in logic. It's behind your strength upgrade. It's not GG yet. Fabio is extremely underseeded, Twitch chat, I believe. I would say that. Fabio kicked my butt last time we ran against each other. But no, Fabio is the reigning Triforce Blitz champion. So a extremely good logic player, as well as executing all of this on keyboard.
Oh yeah, one of the strongest keyboard players in the community, up there with the FMC. Alfalfa is also really good. We have some excellent runners who play on keyboard, that's for sure. As you can see, Fabio's done very well in this seed.
Yeah, don't read too much into the race time numbers. Don't read too much into the race time numbers with experience, because if you're saying that yes, Fabio has about twice the race time races, but a lot of people don't run many race time races because of other commitments. For example, Cfalcon is also a pretty darn good Majora's Mask runner, so he splits his time between OOT and Majora's Mask races.
Yes, just as other things. And to note, too, I believe Cfalcon's an older runner, so we've only been race times only existed for 3 years. Not a little less than 3 years, I think. The Randomizer community started using race time in like April or May, I want to say, 2020. Before that, we used SRL, Speedruns Live, chat, SRL IRC, the acronym for IRC, which I am not remembering right now.
Silvers.
That is strength 2, yep.
Silvers. Hey, if you subscribe to Silver Gauntlets, you are obligated to put these in chat.
Yeah.
And also...
But yes, there are plenty of racers who have been around in the community for years. That was an unpin. That was a misclick.
Welcome to Goodwood, everybody.
Misclicks. Anyhow,
yeah, but
yes,
for the record,
who have been around in the community for a long time, who raced quite a bit on the SRC before race time came around. So there is also that.
Yeah, but no, also for the record, I believe when I started watching Zooter, which was when I was field converting entire introductory physics class to online, I believe one of the first runners I watched was in S3, was Cfalcon in S3. So he's been around for quite a while, and he is an excellent runner. And the fact that he doesn't solely do Ocarina of Time, and hence does not have the number of races on race time, doesn't really mean as much.
No.
He plays very well, and he's a there's one thing where he hasn't played as much Ocarina of Time recently, but he still he comes up, he shows up, and he threw down some incredible times in qualifiers. He still has incredible skills. It doesn't just means that he doesn't grind Ocarina of Time day and night, which that's healthy.
Some people do, and go them, but that's not everyone's choice, and that's perfectly fine.
I don't know about Rove RNG bleeding off minutes. You can control Rove RNG.
To some degree, yeah. To note too that Fabio is we won't see it today, evidently. Fabio, I have in fact seen the impressive is that one of at least 2 runners who I have seen successfully pull off a pixel shot on the keyboard as of his last tournament race. For those who are unfamiliar with what Pixel Shot is, in Fire Temple, the platform you normally summon the Scarecrow to reach, it is possible to do a very precise, I think it's a 4 pixel technically, margin of error to get it.
The setup to get your feet there is easy. The
actual
aiming is
4 pixels or something. It's very, very tight. There's a reason it's called Pixel Shot. Commonly known strat among top players, but it is difficult to do even on controller to aim it because it is that precise. It is even harder on a keyboard. I have in fact seen Fabio pull it off as of his last tournament race, and FMZ also won a tournament race in Season 4 with a Pixel Shot. It's very impressive to see.
I went and taught myself it after I lost a race to having something on PR and not being able to grab it, but it's not something you do by choice.
You would really prefer not to, but sometimes PR just isn't a great thing to route in at times.
Yeah.
Oh, FMZ does play. FMZ Gun, one of the extremely few Asian runners in the community. FMZ is from Taiwan. He still plays. He played in the qualifiers, but elected to drop from the brackets, in part, I believe, because scheduling with a Taiwanese runner is not fun due to time zones. For example, right now, it is, 48 minutes past noon, I believe, in Taiwan for FMZ. So, 13-hour difference off the US East Coast in winter, 7 hours ahead of Central Europe, 8 hours ahead of Britain.
Honestly, considering, Fabio was incredible to play against, and I'm definitely rooting for him because, again, hey, if I lost to someone who goes really far in the main tournament, that makes me really good too, right?
Honestly,
his play
Fabio's gotten very good in recent years. I honestly do not know between him and FMZ who is better, because it's really hard to say. And...
I think, Fabio has been playing, again, I've played against Fabio, he is a demon.
Oh yes, he's a formidable runner, and as you can see here, he's done very well. So,
no, again, incredible player, and yeah, I want to see him go further.
absolutely.
And I want to knock him out at 5-4 splits next time. Anyway. So, Twin Rover RNG, I don't think I'm going to have a... I don't think you're going to lose... I don't think you're going to lose minutes to Twin Rover RNG. There's been, there is a thing that came up, fairly recently, in the past, like, several months, where people actually figured out how the, which is charge. They charge when they're over the, pillars. So you actually have a decent idea about where you should expect your shots to come from. And I don't know, I find it to be an exception rather than a rule. For me to do a 5 or 6 cycle instead of a 4 cycle in this space. And I mean, I'm good. I'm just I do not play enough to be a top 64 runner. Because I have other things I do. So Sponge says that it doesn't matter if you play on game controller or keyboard, and I wonder what he thinks about my janky homebrewed third-party N64 controller. And also Major Cat Lady. How long does the game hold the jump slash damage to the crouching attack until you slash your sword again?
Yep.
Also, no, it just means that my life has been eaten by telescopes. That's what it means.
As a sign, yep, Starfall, well, this wasn't hard AD, but they ended up doing AD because, the scene wasn't particularly kind. They both, effectively just about third last location, not counting King Zora, maybe that's spoiler. Third last location, Ruto's Lettergrid Fire Temple. And before that, they just about last location, the Kokiri Sword on 30 Skulls. Another thing is actually regarding keyboard runners is that I'm not sure how plausible this would be for OoTR because of the more complicated control scheme of the N64 for the other games. But the Zelda 2 Randomizer community has a beloved community member, Victor Santa Fe, who plays on a literal keyboard. No, not the computer one, a musical keyboard. Which is quite a sight to see.
I want to see this so much.
Man's a musician himself, so he will actually in fact jam away at his keyboard with, actual music before and after races. I haven't seen Victor around too much lately, but Victor's great fun in comms, great fun as a runner, and it is always a treat to see him miking away at an actual musical keyboard.
It's amazing.
It's great.
Yeah, well, we have... And also, no problem on the questions. This part of the things we do as commentators is let you know what's going on here as far as the weird stuff people get to pull off in this game.
Yeah.
Cfalcon does drop a Twin Rover shot because, yeah, imagine having hitboxes. Could not be them.
Yeah, sometimes the game just doesn't want to cooperate with you, and that's what's happening here.
I do like what he just did there, where he lets it come up to the side, and then let it swing back. That is a much more consistent way sometimes. How do hitboxes work?
They don't. That's the answer. Yes. In case you're wondering why Cfalcon's pointing a suck shot at Twin Rover, that's because, well, right now he's pointing it at Twin Rover to make the one that's not shooting stay in place to help hit her faster, and in the second phase, pointing her hookshot at Twin Rover will make her move faster between platforms.
Yeah, so one other thing is that there is a chance that will decide that she wants to fire at you a 5th time. If you spin them, if you make them if you shoot your hook shot at them after you hit them 4 times, you can cancel out that 5th phase.
Yep. Little time saves that add up.
Also, do you really want to do a 5th twin robo phase? It's not even just a time save, it's the annoyance too.
Oh yeah, very nice fun cycle there for Cfalcon.
Yeah. He won't be too far behind Fabio. I think he will be well onto the climb by the time Fabio wraps up.
Oh yeah, and every second Canada, we've seen some extremely close races in OoTR history.
We have a real tie in Challenge Cup already this year.
Yeah, but just a few days ago, actually, Keepsake and Relix finished within exact. We didn't go to a true frame count because this was a groups race, but Keepsake and Relix in Relix 48 in the Challenge Cup finished within my rough estimate was anywhere between half a second to a second apart in the race against each other, which was so close it would have required a frame count to determine an actual winner. And at that point, we decided just to declare it a tie. And if there are additional consequences for that group, we may have a tiebreaker race at a later date.
Yeah, so you did see Fabio there using the Bigoron sword for the power crouch stab. So that Bigoron sword does have, you can use that slightly longer hitbox and kind of sweep it across the two iron knuckles. I'm trying to remember how I do this. Like, it's hard to describe it. But if you can, with the Bigoron sword, you can get behind them, and then you can actually activate them both and be able to do a quick kill on them, because you can activate them both at the same time and then go between them fast enough to stun lock them so they don't actually attack you. I don't like doing it with Master Sword. It is possible, but it's moderately consistent with Bigoron sword.
Yeah. And
you definitely are doing that in power crouch step, so. And yeah, those early child checks, I think that's a great point. Those early child checks just did actually come back, because he was not, when it came down to this full cleary seed, he
didn't have to go back to those for his remaining skulls. Like, he just did cack skulls, and that was about it for his few. Like, Cfalcon did those skulls and the child ones, so in around the whole bunch it took longer.
Yes, this is a very close race, very well matched. Very matched runners, and yeah, so many moments of, oh, I could have had this so much earlier, that must have been going through both these runners' heads, and yeah, they're going to be finishing right on top of each other.
Yep, they will.
Belmonts, we'll see the power crouch stab very shortly here on Fabio's side, because he has just stored the Master Sword damage, and he's going to use the hammer. And he's going to stab Ganon's tail with the hammer 3 times. And that is going to make this first phase much faster.
For sure, because the Master Sword is coded to hit 2 points of damage to Ganon. Everything else is coded to do 1. Speaking of everything else, there's a really silly amount list of items that can do damage to Ganon.
The best one, if you don't have something, is definitely Deku Nuts. Definitely Deku Nuts.
It actually is, because they have a really large hitbox, and for some reason they work on his tail. I don't know why.
Yeah,
they don't really kill anything else in the game, but they work on his tail.
Yeah, they have a huge AoE, and they, so the trick when you're hitting Ganon's tail is roll through, pause, and then throw it. And also, speaking of pausing, we have the pause moment on Fabio's side for a cutscene.
Yep. Yeah, you can also use bombs, hook shots, boom. This will equip slashing a slingshot. I guess technically you can use a hammer, you can use Bigoron sword, giant's knife, and the list goes on. Bomb shoes if you really wanted to try, I don't know. And there we are, GG's to Fabio, 306.15. Gonna take this win in Winners Bracket Round 2 and move on to face Exodus in Winners Round 3.
Yeah, which is going to be another barn burner, I'm sure. Exodus has been really on top of his game recently, so anything that's involving Exodus is going to be an interesting race. And yes, Cfalcon was ahead for a bit with costume. Honestly, what came back was Fabio's early full clear child, because they were both hunting for a item to get unstuck. So they were hunting for an item to get unstuck, and it just turned out that Fabio was able to find that item faster because he had done so much more.
Yep.
If this wasn't a full clear seed, if this wasn't a seed that required so much of the runners, I don't know if that would have paid out.
Yep.
This was the right kind of seed for Fabio's strategy.
For sure. Both runners will be joining us for an interview. We are on a 20-minute delay, as briefly mentioned earlier, so they have been done for a little while now. But we'll put them both in once Cfalcon is finished, since they're pretty close here. Cfalcon arriving on the Ganon cutscene.
Good to see both of our runners being close enough to each other to finish out in a comfortable fashion.
Oh, for sure. And you know what this music is for Cfalcon? I have no idea, but it's nice.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know either.
I know I've heard it before because of OT custom music, but I have no idea where it's from originally.
Yeah, the all of these wonderful musics, you can, there is a patch and there's several things that are redone for the sound font that people choose to add, which is awesome. Some of which are funnier than others.
Mm-hmm.
The Wii Shop music is pretty good.
Getting a hit on Cfalcon.
Yeah, sometimes he can turn around on you and then you need to just reset, go line it up again.
Yep.
Yeah, and GG's in chat for Cfalcon, which is, again, not too far behind on this one. This is a very exciting race and came down to just some very interesting choices in early routing that ended with a very efficient full clear.
So we'll get these two in for an interview shortly as the prediction gets resolved. And we'll see what they thought about this seed. Let me go to the win, I guess.
Yeah. All right, and we are joined by Favio and Cfalcon. Welcome in GG's.
GG's, guys. Cfalcon, you are muted, and Fabio, we can't hear you if you're saying anything.
Oh, I'm here. I have a giant plate of food in front of me. Sorry.
No worries.
That is absolutely fair. So yeah, any questions? Any thoughts about this one? Trying to
garbage.
Garbage.
Annoying. Deep fire. I don't know. I think that's about all I got.
Yeah, this was a bit of a rude one. Both of you guys, those ranks were so long. Was it? Oof. You guys both found that 30 hint really late too. I think you're the first to get it be at like an hour 30. I want to say from Colossus. Fabio like another 10ish minutes later, maybe. Because neither of you guys, we never saw the other copy. Maybe Backlake or Fountain or something, but
I still am pulling for like the right side of Deku Tree.
that was a possibility. Yes. And then that Rudo's letter last location you guys could have both gotten so long ago too.
I mean, fair. To be honest though, I couldn't. I mean, I definitely couldn't get it the first time I was in fire. I was it was what 20 minutes into the seed. I think it was like the first thing I did as a
Oh yeah.
But then when I went back
you did fire so early.
Yeah, did, yeah.
Yeah, I got the hammer saw was in Dally, and I'm like, well, I guess we'll at least check the basement. I probably can't go anywhere. Where else? I got the boss key, and I'm like, I mean, I could kill Volve. I also could burn to death over and over if I screw up, and I have Bolero, so I'll just wait. But then yeah, when I went back the second time, I think at that point I had oh gosh, what did I do after that point? That might have been when I went to forest, and then because I had lens and hovers and magic, I was like convinced Song of Storms was in the Colossus. So
Honestly.
I was gonna go there and just I was like, well, I mean, I know Requiem's AD, but I can just put FW in Spirit. It's no big deal if I want
Yeah.
to check later. So yeah, I did that, and then I got Serenade, and I'm like, what? All right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we definitely I was also really thinking about the storms out at Colossus because I was expecting you both to have to cross it. I was gonna say be something there, and no, except for that hint. I mean, fortunately, both of you have been collecting skulls at least, to a small degree. It wasn't like you were starting from nothing.
Oh no, I was only about halfway there. I wish I'd been a little bit closer because some of my skull routing was not the greatest, but I did what I thought I could do
Yeah.
without Sun Song, because everything else I was routing was, oh, I want to make sure time of days for this check and this check. None of that was, oh, I want nighttime for skulls, until I ran to that hint. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fabio had somewhere in the 12 to 15 skulls, I want to say. Like, you guys are both picking up skulls, but it wasn't like a lot. And then you guys both went ham. So one thing for you, Fabio, I think that really made a difference this seed, would be that you guys did comparatively similar early routing for a little bit. Kokiri Forest, Lost Woods. I think you went Valley Lake. He went to Ranch, and then you went Adult relatively early, whereas Fabio went back to Kokiri Lost Woods with the bomb bag, went upriver, did chickens, like did a very, very thorough child one that lasted like 37 minutes, and whereas you ended up doing those checks much later while routing in your 30 skulls, and I think that, and he ultimately got his 30 skulls a little bit more efficiently, which I think was a big difference maker eventually in the seed.
yeah, no, I wanted to go adult pretty quick with the bomb bag that turned into hammer. That we also started with Bolero, so I needed I wanted to see what that song was right away. I will admit I had a thought of staying child longer, because whenever I have Bolero and child and bomb bag, my first thought is maybe maybe I should go get some beans. And well, I mean, I thought was correct.
Yeah,
That was correct.
honestly,
I just
Fabio
didn't
planted
check.
those beans very early, and then he just went and stayed child. And like, I think between me and Alfalfa and some other runners in chat, we're just like, this is such an unconventional route, and we can't say it's a bad route because it worked, but it was an unusual choice. But whereas your choice is much more conventional, it'll be like, oh well, I have a bomb bag and I have gas to go adult and start doing stuff. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, that's pretty much why I ended up doing that. I don't I don't think I don't think I would have done anything differently, no matter how many times I played that seed over. So I'm not at all upset with how that turned out.
No, this was a difficult seat. It was like, okay, so you have a screw you check and fire. Like, I think the only thing that, like, in any world where anyone would possibly have that letter earlier is if they had some sort of big brain thing like, oh, what if I just go grab those 3 easy skulls and fire in like mid fire and just get the checks out of the way? Like, that's the only thing I can think of where someone would big brain that.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
Fabio, hi Fabio. Do we have slightly better sound going on now?
Oh no.
hello.
Yes.
Hey, there we
wonderful.
are.
Now we hear your
GG's,
opinions.
Fabio.
GG's.
Thank you, GG. Don't know what's wrong with last time I worked on my mobile, now I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, like we were talking about behind your back was about the success of that very early, very thorough child route you took.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
a bit wrong, I think.
Yeah, it was again like there was a lot of we were questioning that because it's a little definitely unconventional because I think the conventional play would have been even after you planted all those beans, just go immediately adult. And I think it eventually paid out because it made your skull routing more efficient. But
Yeah,
it made the final last location hunt more efficient. But what was your thought process there?
I think until I decided to cross, I think I was doing pretty good in routing. I can't remember how many skulls I had when I found that freaking hint that made me so nervous from the rest of the race. I think I had like 15 or something.
Something around there.
you had something like 15. Cfalcon found the hint a little bit earlier than you, like maybe 5-10 minutes, I want to say. But he had a little less. And then you guys both rushed skulls pretty hard from that because you'd both done most checks in the game. You'd done more of those like various child checks in Child 1, Fabio, but Cfalcon just routed them in with his 30 skulls. You just rushed skulls pure. You went to DC for a couple. You went back to Forest a little bit. And then you finished with Night Cack skulls, which worked out pretty well.
Yeah, the only thing I was worried about is that right after Kokiri started doing Deku, after that I was worried it was gonna be like straightforward, like the items along the way.
Mm.
And well, deep fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just going back into fire extremely behind the strength upgrade that you were locked behind for so long. Very rude.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And
it could.
I know
guys
you
both
probably
beat
had no
fire.
hesitation doing water because the Requiem would save you so much time since you would have had to cross again.
Yeah, because Cfalcon, you set for Roars and Spirit when you crossed and got the 30 hint. Fabio, you did not get Serenade. You didn't set for Rosier since you wanted time. I think time of day for skulls. Then having just gotten that 30 hit, so you would have had to cross the wasteland again if you didn't get your all dungeons for Requiem.
But conversely, that also meant that you had good skull route into forest. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pros win for me a lot this week.
Yeah, the first wind early was a nice bonus, something you don't get to have a lot.
For sure, which definitely helped a bit.
Yeah. All right. So, do we have anything else we would we have any more questions? Anything else we'd like to hear from our runners before we let them go?
Yeah, I'm pretty much wrapped up with questions. I guess we can talk about your next opponents. Fabio, you get Exodus next round. Any thoughts about him?
I already faced him in the SGL online tournament.
Uh-huh.
It was a really close race. Super jet, but it was a really close race.
Okay,
So
to get experience here.
expect something similar. That's a very good player. Oh, there's a lot of good
Yeah, you
players.
lost to him in quarterfinals, so want some revenge, maybe?
I love it.
And then Cfalcon, you... Yeah, go ahead, sorry, Fabio, on that one.
No, I just
Yeah.
hope it will be a great match.
Yeah, for
Yeah, I'm
sure.
excited
Good,
for it.
yeah, good luck on that. Cfalcon, you get the winner of the Mr. Mario versus Mr. Martin matchup. Thoughts on M&M? And which one of the pair you'd rather get for your next matchup?
I mean, I would like to point out that the multi-world team that both of them are on just knocked mine out of the tournament. So clearly, there's a revenge factor. No, I'm kidding. They're both great. I mean, like that's not an easy matchup either way. So like I will happily play either one that advances, and probably get destroyed by either one that advances. But yeah, that should be a good one.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, good luck on that. I believe they race on Sunday, so you'll find out your opponent then.
I'm honestly, I'm still surprised that Mr. Mario and Mr. Martin is in loser bracket, especially
I
for my friend Martin.
I think
this
surprised a lot
entire
of people.
tournament has been like that.
For sure, because Mr. Mario got knocked to losers by the Aeronaut, and Mr. Martin by Gavaroni, also two very, very good players. So, I mean, there's going to be surprises all over the place, so good luck on that. That's going to be one tough matchup. So I'm pretty sure we're going to try and get that one restreamed. It's going to be an insane race to watch. Yes, with all the other races going on too, but yeah, GG's guys, and good luck on that next round. I am pretty much out of questions. Yeah, go ahead, Fabio.
One more thing. I think,
Okay.
did I read well? Double click attack?
Yes. The crater was double
Okay,
packed both to Forest and to Roba.
Yep.
Okay, I was right then. Okay.
I understand that feeling. Wrong. I understand why you might doubt it, but yes, it was in fact Saria's to get to Forest Temple and the Mirror Shield for Roba.
Yep.
And no idea about the other 30 hint?
No idea.
We did not
the
see
30
it.
Hint. It did not show up. You guys did not find it. I mean, we didn't see what fountain.
Go check back of lake.
Fountain, back lake, a couple terrible grottos like Storm's Lock.
I was so close to check the cow grotto, but only for the hint.
Oh yeah, the one by Valley, yeah.
Valley Cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel
you
like
had everything for it, isn't you had everything for it.
Yeah,
and Hammer and Dins.
Or Bombs Child, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I just feel that he's much stronger this season. I don't know, that's my feeling. So
I think hints have definitely risen in value, which is ironic considering the lack of foolish hints. People assume that would create some problems, but no, it's actually I think hints have increased in value. And
yeah.
I think I agree. I think noticing the introduction of the adult river becoming a much stronger play, a much more frequent play, has kind of been a reflection of that recognition. But yeah, I think we can talk about that at some other point. Maybe when I propose a Blitz rematch at some point. But for now, we should probably let our runners go, and we should probably let baseball take us away.
Yeah,
would love to do that. So I'll go ahead and start wrapping us up. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching today. And thank you, of course, to our runners, Favio and Cfalcon, for putting on an excellent show. Thank you to our commentators, Star and Jackstronomy. Thank you so much to Vela for tracking with me today. So yeah, thank you, volunteers, for making this possible. We have a lot of Ocarina of Time Randomizer coming up this weekend. Starting with tomorrow, we have 2 races. We have Kowari versus Volk 41 at 3:50 p.m. Eastern, and we have Sora versus Ice 9 at 6:20 p.m. Eastern. And then there are a whole bunch of matches on Saturday. There are a ton, so please keep your eye on the schedule for what will be restreamed. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but they should all be at least on the schedule so you know what's going on. Okay. With all of that out of the way, I think I'm going to go ahead and raid you over to Fant. She is playing some Ocarina of Time, and she's doing some GSR speedruns. Ganondorf source requirement. So I hope you enjoy that. Fant is very cool. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.